probably have to do that. Let me just see. That should work. All right. It looks all crooked. Hey, how's it going? Doesn't look like anybody's here yet. That's all right. So let me see. I sent out notices on Twitter. If people want to join, let me know. Send me a PM through my channel. Best way is to contact me via Twitter. And if you can't get a hold of me that way, leave a message in the chat, and chances are I will also need your email address. So if you're not following me on Twitter, you're going to have to plug in your email address in the chat room, and then I can send out an invite. Only 10 people can be here. Please keep it on topic. Please wait your turn to be called on. And please stay somewhat focused and on the topic. I know it's good to have fun, but we don't want it to detract from the conversation. Oh, hey, Brandon. That's all right. Yeah, we had a problem with that before. I know Facebook was working, but all right. Well, shoot. Well, hopefully you can get that fixed, Brandon, because I'd like to have you on. And hey, witches girl. Oh, and by the way, Brandon, I finally got that tooth out, and oh, what a relief. I couldn't even talk. It was so painful. I mean, I could talk, but I really didn't want to talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't, it was a horrible weekend. Actually, no, couple of days. Because I couldn't get an appointment. But oh man, that tooth was killing me. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't eat. I couldn't talk. I mean, I couldn't even sleep that well. So I'm so glad I got that out. But it was nice chatting with you the other day, Brandon. Let me see. So we're going to be talking about, I want to get a couple of people in here. And we're going to kind of go back and finish the discussion that we started last, excuse me. And I guess we can also talk a little bit about what's going on in Berkeley, the riots that are, well, hopefully over right now, but they might still be going on. But basically there was a pro-Trump rally there, and then there was the Antifa people. And the thing that pisses me off the most about this whole situation is the propaganda. The propaganda that especially is coming from the left, the Antifa side, the anti-Trump people. It's just, propaganda is just incredibly pissing me off. It's just bullshit. There was a lady who was punched by a gentleman, so I don't know exactly the whole story behind that. But anyhow, somebody was saying that this particular person was a racist, and had made some kind of a claim, or made some statement basically saying that whites were superior to blacks. So I contacted them for where they got this information from, and I researched it and I looked into it. The guy apparently looks to be a nationalist, meaning that he's pro-American and that wants our borders closed. He's a nationalist. But there was nothing in there that says that he was even a white nationalist or a Nazi or a white supremacist or anything like that. And they had also created these posters with his head imposed upon somebody who was wearing a Ku Klux Klan shirt. It's disturbing what they're doing. Most people, especially Trump people, you don't really have to do too much to make them look bad. You just basically just kind of like say, these are their ideas. That's all you have to do. It's like me with doing these anti-Christian videos. You know, all I have to do is just say, they believe this. I don't have to make up stuff. I don't have to go in and Photoshop their face on some kind of a flyer and make up lies about them. I just say, this is what they believe. And that's it. They're exposed. And you don't want to silence people. That really pisses me off too. They want to silence people. They don't want people to go to a pro-Trump rally and speak. No, You want them to sit there and speak and film it and let their ideas go as far to the extremes they're going to go and record it. And then later on, you play it for other people and say, look, these are what these fucking idiots believe. And you just play it. They're creating their own destruction, the far left, and it's comical. So, hey, Loki's Witch, welcome. So let me check my Twitter real quick. See if anybody twatted me. No twats. No twats. I have received no twats. So yeah. So anyhow, so I mean this whole and then the Berkeley police. I used to live in Berkeley. So I was right across the street from that Civic Center Park is the high school, and then there is City Hall. So City Hall is right here. Berkeley High School is right here, and right here is a school, and then there's Center Street, and then this is Milvia running this way. No, excuse me, Milvia is on the top. This is Martin Luther King Jr. Way. So right on Martin Luther King Jr. Way, there's City Hall. And where's the police department? I can't remember where the police department is. But anyhow, it's downtown Berkeley, and they're basically just, the police are just standing there. They're just letting it all happen. They claim to have made 13 arrests. Okay. There's at least like 100 people there, at least, probably more. But the police are doing nothing. I mean, it's not like they're making the choice to do it. They're obviously being told from higher up to stand down. But it's like, so these people are sitting there fighting. They're hitting each other with sticks. They're throwing things at each other. They're beating each other up. And the police are letting this all happen. It's really a shame. I sent a tweet to the city of Berkeley. I also sent a tweet to the Berkeley Police Department, telling them how what a horrible job they're doing, basically, and how whatever blood is spilled is on their hands. You know, I mean, it's going to take, what is it going to take? Somebody gets murdered. I mean, it can happen. You get hit in the head with a brick or a large object, you get a concussion, you can die. I mean, it can happen. It's not some weird, I mean, it would be a fluke, but still it could happen. And there's people who are getting beaten up. They're getting beaten up. There's also vandalism that is occurring. You know, we have a right to peaceful assembly, peaceful protest, but the minute that you begin to either block an area, a public way, or you commit violence, it's no longer peaceful assembly. And that's what people don't quite understand. And you need to, peaceful assembly is important. If you want to block something for a reason of a protest, that's something else, because then what you're doing is then you're actually wanting to get arrested. And then if you do get arrested, that's civil disobedience, and that's usually a good thing, but you don't sit there and attack the people. You don't take a swing at the people around you. You just don't do that. Even like if you're protesting, let's say you're protesting a business or something, you don't take a swing at the CEO. You don't sit there with a stick and try to hit the people who are going into the business. It's ridiculous, and it makes you look bad. So Antifas are just getting a really, really bad reputation. I mean, they already had a pretty bad reputation because they're basically mindless idiots who just want to commit violence. They're not really there to protest. They're just there to beat people up. That's it. Hey, Delia, welcome. So, yeah, so I'm trying to get some people in here so we can start this conversation. Let me check. Did I get those? Oh, okay. Hey, Loki. So let me send you the link, Loki. I just saw your tweet. Copy. And I will send you an invite, Loki. All right, Loki, I just sent it to you now. I just tweeted it to you. Let me see. Close. And this is why so many cops get a bad rep, because of cops. Yeah, and you know, Brandon, it's not really so much the cops. I know that the cops they're following orders from higher up. It's not that they're sitting there and they're just like watching it happen. Somebody is telling them what to do. Police get organized for events like this. They've been organized for this event. They knew this event was going to happen weeks ahead of time. They had time to plan strategies, to put up barriers, they had all kinds of resources. Berkeley is not, they're not like shocked by protests. Protests in Berkeley have been happening since the 60s. Berkeley is the place to protest. So the police know exactly how to handle this. And they chose to basically just let these two groups come together and beat the shit out of each other. That is what they allowed to happen. And it is blatantly obvious. Hey, Blake. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going? So again, you people are welcome to join me. We're going to be talking about Magick. Blake, I really like your videos. I'd really like to have you on if you want. Invite you, but I will need to. I'll need to get your email address. So if you can either tweet me, and I'll put in my Twitter handle down here, and I can invite you. Hey, Loki, welcome.
Ew.
Ew. Okay, that doesn't sound good.
And mute that. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I heard you say ew.
Oh, no, because I said ooh, because I had the video playing in the background.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, so I was just talking about the Berkeley riots, and I'm trying to get a couple of people to join in on us now. Let me see. And so have you been seeing this on the news?
I've been avoiding the news, actually.
Okay, well, that's all right. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, so I don't blame you.
Oh yeah, I just get confused with like this goes on and this goes on, and then we bomb this place or they bomb that place. It's like, okay, it's Saturday. I need to not have that. But no, and I also haven't checked my Facebook all day, so I'm afraid to look at it.
Yeah. Well, the Syria thing is just getting uglier and uglier as it progresses. It sounds like, and if you don't want to talk about this, Loki, just let me know.
Oh, no, it's perfful's fine. I don't mind.
Okay. All right. So it looks like, Trump bombed that place with the what's his name? The guy who the base, but Assad.
Yes,
Assad, who's supposed to be the leader of the Syrian. Yeah. So apparently, because the UN several weeks ago, well, long time ago actually, had went in and not confiscated, but witnessed them destroying their chemical weapons. And Assad said that he didn't have any more. The UN confirmed it. They went around, they checked. They said, yes, he doesn't have any more chemical weapons. Turns out what we were under the assumption of was that he was responsible for this attack. But now there's questions going on about whether or not he actually used the serotonin nerve gas against his own people, or if it was another group that actually did it. So I mean, yes, the whole thing is a fucking mess. And we're kind of, in my opinion, we are kind of left like, okay, what is truth? What is fact? And, we're left like wondering what's going on. And it's really a stupid position to take, to just assume that Trump went in there upon such little evidence and committed an airstrike. So it's like there's a lot of question there, and I don't quite understand what is going on. Hey, Owl, welcome.
I've looked at some of the things, and a lot of the evidence that we've had or have seen before all this thing, I do believe he probably did it to his own people because he is that kind of jerk. But it all depends on what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff in Syria has been going on way too long to begin with.
Yeah.
Even before we did the airstrike.
Yeah, because people are, so then the question that has arisen from that is that people are saying basically he's winning the war, and to use the gas, the Seritin, the way that he used it, apparently, first of all, he knows it would be a violation. He knows it would cause a big, huge red flag in the UN and the United States. So again, we're kind of left with, why would they do it? Why would he do that? What was really going on? And we're left with kind of like, we're getting both sides of the stories, and it's just, I just don't feel like we know everything, and that's what really pisses me off about this.
Yeah. And we only get part of the stuff one day, and then we get another part the next, if anything.
Okay. So, hey, Rifley, did you want to join us? Let me see. Copy. Sorry, Loki. You can go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I mean, that, and then the whole Moab being dropped on an ISIS target area. I had a lot of people ask me, well, didn't they like kill civilians by doing that? I'm like, no, the Moab was dropped in the desert at a cave system. And I had to explain to them what a Moab bomb does. It pretty much is almost a pressure bomb. And it does have a large destructive radius, but it doesn't exactly explode and cause like incineration. As far as I remember, it smashes, it sends out shockwaves. So it collapsed a huge ISIS cave system, at least. Yeah. Like, yeah, as far as they know, they don't know how many ISIS people got killed, but it wasn't in a civilian area.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm not even sure what's going to happen with this. I mean, I think it's just going to be an escalating war. But if we get into a war again, and it's not like we ever really like pulled out of the Middle East. I mean, we've been involved in the Middle East for a long time now. But it just seems like I don't see an end to it. You know what I mean? I don't see any kind of a situation that can. So, hey, Rifley, I sent you an invite to your email address that you provided. So if you want to join us, please do. Just click on that link and it should send you here. But yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't, I mean, I'm no expert. I probably am barely a layman in understanding all of the various things, factions and blah, blah, that's going on in the Middle East. There are people who have much more knowledge and insight than I do. But from my position, it doesn't look, I don't see a win. All I see is a loss. I don't see any kind of a win. I mean, even if we did, like, let's say, suppress ISIS in the Middle East, let's say that our main objective completely gets accomplished and we are somehow able to do that, then we occupy that area for whatever amount of time to get a government in place. I think the minute we pull out, the next generation is going to come up and create another ISIS.
Yeah.
I just don't see it a win situation. It's like in Jerusalem, or at a time it was in Northern Ireland. It's like the generations come up with the hatred for that group because they've seen their fathers killed and their grandfathers killed, and it's a generational thing. It just keeps going, and you don't see an end to it. It's just like you suppress one group and another generation pops up.
Yeah.
Hey, Renee, how's it going? She keeps calling me dad. All right, daughter. Hey, daughter, did you do your homework? Why are you up so late?
Okay.
Just coming in. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's kind of like a moot point at this point. It's like that's against Trump, and I understand. I don't like Trump, but my main focus of this is what can we accomplish in the Middle East. So,
but
we already talked about. Go ahead, Loki. Sounds like you.
With that, here's the thing: that plan to bomb the ISIS cave was set before he even was president. That had been in planning for months before. And believe it or not, when it comes to dropping a non-nuclear weapon, such as a Moab, which is not a nuclear weapon, he does not have to seek Congress for the approval. And they had already had this in plan. They were just waiting for either him to sign or when Obama was still in office. But because of when the planning was, neither of them could do anything until the other was more set in the office. So Trump did not need Congress's approval because it was already pre-approved before he was even in the president's office. It was one of the last efforts to get rid of an area for ISIS. I looked it up. I was reading it. It was even stated on an actual reputable news site. I don't remember which one of it was, but it had already been planned out before he was president. So it has nothing to do with Trump. It was already something that was in the making of doing. So in the end, it's one of those, it was going to happen regardless if Trump or the Congress said anything. Well, if Trump put a stop to it, it wouldn't have happened. Congress had no say in it because it was not a nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapons, they do have to have Congress and a lot more say in it.
I would
a
hope
Moab
so.
is not a nuclear weapon, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that had been in planning for months. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean so I mean even though I agree with you, one Wiccan high priest, but you know, this is that's kind of after, it's before the fact. We can probably do that on, hopefully it's being addressed in Congress, but right now we have, it's like getting into a fight. It's like, okay, who threw the first punch is something that we can talk about, but right now we're in the thick of it. So it's like, right now we have to figure out, okay, like, is this fight worth it? That's what I'm really wondering. And if it is worth it, what are we going to gain from it? Or what are we going to lose from it? And I don't see really a gain from it. I see nothing but loss. I see loss of life. I see loss of our respect in the political arena. I see loss of support from our own people. I just see nothing but bad things in the horizon. With occupying the Middle East, further occupying the Middle East and committing attack. But anyhow, I didn't mean to really get onto this. We were talking about we were talking
Sorry.
about no. I think I actually did it because you had brought up the news and then I had brought up this and then we started talking about it. So
yeah.
So hey, one Wiccan high priest. I tried to look you up on Google Plus, and you are not coming up. I think we had this issue before. Can you send me if you want to join us? Can you send me your email address, and I will send you a link, and we can try to get you on here again. I know we had problems last week. Yeah, because you're not coming up when I type it in. And let's see. Still, yeah. So, but yeah. So we were talking about the situation going on over in Berkeley.
Yeah.
Before this.
Yeah, like I said with the news, that's pretty much been filling up my feed. That and everybody I know is at SoccerCon in Seattle right now, so that's blowing up my Facebook.
What is it? SoccerCon?
SoccerCon is a anime convention.
Oh, okay. So kind of like Comic-Con?
Yeah, but with more people dressed up from animes, so.
Okay.
And
nice.
Video games. They're having fun. It's like it's blowing up my feed. I'm like, okay, I have not seen anything about the news because nobody that normally posts this is around news because they're running around in costumes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, but even hearing about
my real name. Okay, all right. I will look under your real name.
But even hearing about the riots over there, I agree with you. Peaceful protest is one thing, but the second you start impeding traffic on purpose without a permit, throwing or destroying things, or disrespecting the people who are supposed to be helping you, such as the police, then it's just unexcusable.
One Wiccan high priest. There are more people called David Earl. All right. Well, anyhow, invited. Yeah, I mean, it's protest is okay. I mean, our country is built on protest. I mean, it's okay to do it. It's just that, you know, like I've said this before. Back in my day, we were trained how to protest. We were trained how to be arrested. We had people who controlled it. We had organizers who, you know, we were part of a group, and we were in this group, and you know, we had very kind of flimsy sticks to sort of hold up the sign and nothing more. You know, it was organized. The whole purpose of it was to get numbers, to show up, to get attention from the news, to be arrested if so, and have the news media outlets saying, you know, like 200 people were arrested today at Livermore, you know, Livermore nuclear power plant, and or whatever. That was the whole purpose of the protest, was to get attention to the issue. And I don't see an issue in this. I mean, it's not. It's basically just it was a public gang rumble. That's what it was. It was a gang rumble between the oldest gangs in United States history. The left and the right, the Democrats and the Republicans, the this, that. It was the two sides coming together basically to fight. That's it. It's the whole purpose for this thing. I don't care. Somebody can argue that point, but they're going to have a hard time arguing it, because that's the truth of the matter. They went there with helmets on, shields, thick clothing, masks, something to, you know, like a respirator just in case there's tear gas, and sticks that had like stupid little signs like, you know, I hate kittens. And the whole purpose of that sign was merely just to have a stick.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the other thing with the Berkeley Police Department, which I'm severely disappointed in. Okay, one Wiccan high priest, I sent you an invite to your name that came up because I recognized your face. But I'm also going to send you an email, and I know we had issue with it before, so double check it. Double check your spam folder, and if we can't get you in here, then I don't know what to say. But I sent it to your Google Plus that popped up, and I also sent it to your Gmail account right now. So, yeah. So I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. And the Berkeley Police Department, I feel, what they're doing is they're just allowing all of this stuff to happen because they didn't put up barricades. They did not maybe clear the place of stuff that might be used as a weapon, like trash cans, stuff like that. They did not enforce the area. They did not control movement of people. They didn't do any of these things. They didn't announce with bullhorns like most protests, like this is now an unlawful assembly. If you do not disperse right, if you do not disperse right now, we will arrest you. And that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to be arrested. Gives you an opportunity to back out of that. But those who do remain, they will encircle and they will arrest them. And they will start, they don't just like pop into a group and start arresting people. No, they start from the outside. They start arresting. They cordon it off. They block off people. And then those people who are within that group, they just go in and just start arresting them. And they'll have trucks on the side. I didn't see any trucks. I didn't see any riot trucks. I didn't see any police in riot gear. I mean, they basically just wanted these people to get into a rumble, and it's despicable. And I'm glad that the whole world is seeing that, because Berkeley needs to be called out on it.
Yeah, because even when they had also at SUC, they had a Black Lives Matter parade. Well, protest parade walked past. the thing is they were very organized. The police were there in force. There was the motorcycle cops that followed behind them and in front of them, and they had everything set up for the march.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nothing but peaceful, no problem. This was probably one of the first time I've seen a Black Lives Matter march that was peaceful here in Washington, because freaking Portland.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in Oregon. But at the same time, it didn't impede traffic. It didn't impede the people going to the anime convention. It didn't impede anything. That's how a protest is supposed to be. That's how a protest march is supposed to be, not the whole, hey, we're right here, you're right here, let's fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah. So
I don't know how they couldn't prepare for it.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said earlier, I mean, they know what happens with the protests. They've been dealing it since the 60s. So they've been dealing with it for 50 years. It's not like it threw them for a loop, you know, whereas you could understand, like, let's say a protest broke out in the middle of, you know, like, I don't know, Fresno, California or something. I mean, you know, some weird place like that, or Hallstatt, or, you know, some little town. I could see the police kind of like being overwhelmed, like not knowing what to do. And, oh my God, these groups are coming together. How do we do it? And you kind of have to scramble to figure it out. But the Berkeley Police Department has been dealing with this for 50 years. I mean, they know what to do.
Yeah, they should have known what to do. It shouldn't have been a problem.
No, not should have. It's not should have. They do know what to do. I've been arrested in Berkeley no, I mean, I've been arrested in Berkeley for other stuff like that, but I've been arrested in Berkeley for public protests. So I know they know what to do. It's not like a shock to them.
Hold on real quick.
So,
Soren, can you please pick up the lamp? Yeah. We'll get it in a second. Soren's being a brat. The lamp fell over when I turned it on.
Okay. Okay. So anyhow,
sorry about that.
It's okay. So Mish, I sent you an invite too. One Wiccan High Priest, try sending me a tweet if you were on Twitter. Maybe I can send you the link that way. That's always a good way to do it. And we're going to get off this topic and start getting into Magick pretty soon, but I just wanted to get more people in here. Renee, you're welcome to join us if you don't call me Dad.
Oh, you gotta realize that you're old, you're always gonna be called Dad. Or Grandpa.
I'm not old, damn it.
Get off my lawn, you damn kids.
Yeah, you youngins today, you got no respect. Get off my lawn, you little whippersnappers.
Between you and Soren, I don't know who's going to get me in trouble first.
Probably Soren. But hey, One Wiccan High Priest, look above you. There, I put my Twitter handle up there. It's at Lilocan ASS. Pull up your pants. Travis wants us. Pull up your pants, you damn little whippersnappers. Nobody wants to look at that. It's really funny that you said get off my lawn, because when I was younger, me and this friend of mine, we used to go to clubs in San Francisco, and then we would come back and okay, I'll send you an invite, Renee. So we would come back, you know, late, like 2-3 in the morning from clubs in San Francisco, and he lived down in Richmond, which is another kind of like there was Berkeley,
yeah.
Berkeley, Albany, El Cerrito, Richmond. He lived in Richmond. So this one guy, he had a lawn that was, you know, the kind where you just roll it out. So it was like little squares. And we peeled up his lawn and we covered his entire car with his yard. I mean, we were drunk. Awesome. We were drunk. Yeah, I mean, we were 17, 16 years old. You know, I mean, we're just kids. And so morning, we're all hung over at his house, and his mom comes in. She's all, so and so up the street said that you guys covered his car in grass. He says if you guys are caught on his lawn again, he's going to shoot you. Just like, so we were literally told to get off my lawn.
Well, you put the lawn on someone's car. There's a difference. I should just still yard gnomes.
He didn't have any yard gnomes.
Oh, we're taking people's yard gnomes and then put them in somebody else's yard down the street to make them think that the gnomes were moving. But I think the best was I might have told this once before, was my friends went gnoming. Instead of stealing a gnome, it'd be Jesus out of somebody's nativity on one of our theater mother's lawns. She came in, she's like, okay, I know which boys it was, and one of them's already grounded because it's my son. And I know your guys' parents, and Jesus has best be back in his own bassinet tonight, or I will call your parents. Just get him home. They put him back.
Yes.
But we just used to do that because it was just fun.
Yeah.
But it's not like we would keep the gnomes.
Right. Yeah. But I like that, like the gnome migration. So let me see. Okay. So I'm inviting one more person. Nobody's getting invites. I don't know what's going on here. It's like an invite black hole. So let me see. Okay. So Renee, I sent you an invite to the email that you provided. One Wiccan High Priest. I don't know what's going on. This is getting for you. Don't come up when I search that name on Twitter. It doesn't come up when you search the name on Twitter.
You need to just type in Hellbound Heathen, and he'll come up on Twitter.
Okay.
If you're searching for the name.
Yeah. He was putting in my Twitter address. So One Wiccan High Priest. Try that. And let me see, Renee. Where did you send? Renee. I think, you know what, Renee? Let me invite you via Facebook, because I think we're on friends on Facebook. So let me invite you via Facebook. I think we're friends. She unfriended me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be a friend anymore. Let me see.
You won't let me call you daddy.
You really? Yes, Renee. So let me send you an invite via a private message on Facebook. That should work for you. Okay, Renee, that should work. Okay, found you on Twitter. Send request. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, because I have. Yeah, sorry, I have. Yeah, people have to get my approval to follow me because I had some weird people following me. Not like you people aren't weird, but these were weird people.
I was about to say, Matt and Art are pretty freaking weird.
They were weird people I didn't want to know. Let's put it that way.
Oh, so now you see TV found you. Got it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, David. Excuse me. I mean, One Wiccan High Priest. Let me send you. I'm following you now. Let me send you a link. I'm messaging you. And it's sent. Okay, so I sent you the link via Twitter. Let me see. Okay, all right, cool. So, yeah, so this will be interesting because hey, she's here. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Doing good. How are you people?
Doing all right.
Good.
You look good. Did you do something with your hair? Or?
Oh, I actually did it a few days ago. I'm just usually lazy. You usually do these things like on weekends, and it's when I prefer to look like trash. Because I don't have to be anywhere, and I'm usually cleaning my house, and this is just kind of left over. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, in the future, you can always turn your camera off if you're really like.
Dang. I don't care how I look. I'm just confident. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was
This
some
is me in my
discussion
natural
in
state.
yeah, there was some discussion in YouTube Pagans about how many people wear pants when they're filming
Oh, that
videos.
was one of
Yeah.
those. I was like, you have no idea how many videos that I'm doing that I have no pants on. Just in case if I wanted another Sprite, I decided to you made sure that I was wearing pajama pants for this because I'm like, too much. It's different life.
And like even like Lady Ambrosia says, like I'll see her in the chat, I'll be all like, hey, come on and join. She'd be like, well, I'll have to put on clothes. Like, you just sit around naked. I mean, it's okay. You can do whatever you want, but
well, I've had like
It's fun
family
sitting
in
around
and
naked.
out here for like a month, so I've had to do nothing but wear pants this entire time, and like especially weekends, it's just like no. I don't believe in pants. I don't think they're necessary. So, but apparently,
gonna be a pantsless weekend.
yeah, pretty much. Except for out of respect to your fine establishment, I of course am making sure I wear pants, and I'm trying not to call you dad or any derivative of that, just to not be an asshole. Because all you said is don't call you dad. So the first thing I almost said is what's up, pops? But I decided no, I'm not gonna do it because I'm just my sense of humor is strange. So.
Okay.
No,
Well-
it's great. I love your sense of humor.
Yeah, you notice, Loki, that she managed still to throw in that call me dad and pop thing, even though she's like, I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to call you dad. I'm not going to call you pop. But
But
she
I
still
said
managed to
almost
throw it
said
in there.
But that was just showing disrespect, you know. It's just I'll be nice. I'll be good. I'll behave.
I was about to say, it's like the whole pantless thing is half the time I'm recording, I'm wondering, I don't know if they realize that I pretty much only have a shirt on right now.
Yeah, like from the neck up, you have clothes, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, right now you have me in my gardening shirt and my yoga pants, so at least I'm wearing damn pants.
Yep, I got Snoopy winter pajamas.
Nice.
Pajamas. I can't think. I was just like, wait, words. I tried to live stream earlier today because I was doing this giveaway thing, and I couldn't talk through half of it. I was just like out of it. I was too focused on I need to put clothes out of the dryer and hang them. That's how like boring my weekends are. It's just really laundry and clean a house. I just stain it. But usually if I'm gonna have to get gross, why get pants dirty? There's more to wash, you know? It's just wash.
There you go. See, that's rock solid logic right there. I like that. Why wear clothes? They just get dirty. And if you live by yourself or lock your room or whatever, what does it matter if you walk around?
Yeah.
Who cares?
As long as I don't
There
leave
was
the house that way. Okay.
There was a couple of videos I did. I don't know if you ever seen them, but there's two videos where I just wear like boxers, and like, you know, I had when I did the green screen, I'd have my suit on, or the suit coat and then the dress shirt, and then like from there down I had like boxers on. Hey, and David. I had when I did the green screen, I'd have my suit on, or the suit coat and dress shirt. And then, like, from there down, I had, like, boxers on. Hey, David. All right. Hey, David, let me unmute you. Do you have headphones? How do I unmute people?
I love Mercury retrograde. It's so entertaining.
I think you have to click it again to unmute them.
I did click it again.
Keep clicking.
Great
Try
out.
click it.
Huh?
Try left clicking on his icon, or
No, that doesn't work.
or that little arrow
All right.
that you click on. It will pop up that says profile, ignore, mute. You have to hit, I think, mute again to unmute him.
Okay.
Can
there we
you
go.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, I can hear you now, but do you have headphones? Because I hear an echo.
You have to hit, I think, mute again to unmute him.
Do I have to wear the headphones?
Okay. There we hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you now, but do you have headphones? Because I hear an echo.
Oh, man. Do I have to wear the headphones? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now, but do you have headphones? Because I hear an echo. Oh, man. Do I have to wear the headphones? This is crazy. Why is it like repeating 20 damn times here?
Yeah.
Because you
don't
have
know.
it on your PC
Alright.
along
Shut
with
this off.
on your recording device that we are talking to you on. You have to mute your PC that you're playing the live stream from.
Yep. All right. Yeah. So, hey, David, when you come back on, you reconnect, you'll have to get headphones. That's why I'm wearing headphones. But what'll happen is your microphone, whatever it is going to pick up your speakers, and we're going to hear the reverb. And it's just going to go, it's going to create a loop. So anyhow, yeah. So, but I was, so there was a couple of things that I did where I was just wearing boxers. And I think one of them I kind of panned down a little bit so that people could see that I was wearing boxers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, wearing pants is overrated, and if society would allow it, Soren claims they would never wear clothing.
Well, I mean, there's necessity for clothing. One of them is, where are you going to put your keys if you're naked?
Well, yeah, good point. I mean,
your
well, you
wallet.
could always wear lanyards, and with the wallet, that is a really good point.
Yeah. And then the other thing
If
is,
you don't have pants doesn't mean you can't wear a purse if you're female or male for that answer.
Yeah,
You
right,
know, they have bags.
I mean, it would be a man bag. It wouldn't be a purse, but we
Exactly.
would wear a man bag. Yes.
Whatever makes you feel better, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, and in Berkeley, matter of fact, there was the naked guy. The naked guy walked around Berkeley completely naked because Berkeley had a law. Well, it didn't have a law against nudity. Oh, we just dropped Renee. But anyhow, so he would walk around with a backpack and shoes. And in his backpack, he had like all of his school stuff and his keys and just like other stuff like that. And then there was this naked couple of ladies that used to walk around also. But they didn't wear anything else. Like, we didn't see a purse or backpack. And so there was always talk amongst us like, where do they put their keys?
Well, in
They
Portland,
hid it in their rock.
yeah, in Portland, believe it or not, you you can technically walk around naked as long as it's not in a sexual manner.
How do you walk
That's
around
why I
in a
don't like
sexual
going to
manner?
Portland. Aroused or doing something you're not supposed to be doing. While
It was
going
a
out to the
rhetorical
store.
question. It was a rhetorical question.
I know.
But
that's
you're like,
to get, like, a
well, let me
fun-
explain that to you.
I will explain it, damn it. But it's a man bag. This is called a satchel. It can be run by men or women. It's a side bag. So you don't have to call it a man bag or a man purse. It's side satchels. Instead of where you put your stuff. Mister, I want to walk around naked and don't know where to put my keys.
So anyhow.
An item receptacle.
All right, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have an echo, which is good.
Okay. I hate headphones. I hate headphones because I like to wear my hat, and I can't wear my hat with a damn headphone.
Okay.
I can't wear my hat. I feel naked without my hat.
That's okay.
Aw.
Do you need a minute? Do you to deal with your hat separation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm hearing myself, damn it.
Yeah. So, hey, One Wiccan High Priest, a long time ago, you and I had a discussion, I think, on one of your videos about Wicca and all this stuff. And I don't think I ever asked you, what is your branch of Wicca that you practice?
Well, I have received training in a couple of different traditions, but primarily I call myself Alexandrian.
Okay.
I was covenant initiated in 1992, and that was my first degree. And then I left the path about a year and a half later. I left the path completely to study other things. And then I was gone for like, I don't know, almost 20 years. I kind of got lost in myself. So I returned to Wicca in 2008, and I got my second degree. And then in 2011, I got my third degree. And that's about it. So
Okay. Okay. So Alexandria Wicca. Okay.
yeah, mostly. Yep.
Cool. Nice to know. Let me see. Okay. So I think we have hey Thorn Witch, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. Let me see. I just want to go through here and see if I got everybody who wants to join. Hey, Brendan, Jeremy, Delia, Travis, Animist, Golden.
Boy, I'm still hearing you talk a few seconds after you say something. I can still hear you say it, and I can hear myself too. This is weird.
Mute the video in the background if you have the video in the live chat still going. And you have to mute the YouTube video.
I gotcha.
There you go.
All
I've done that
that's
before,
better.
Yeah.
That's better. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
That was driving
Okay.
me nuts.
All right, Thorn. Well, maybe next time, because she's. I'd like to get her perspective on this too. She's very knowledgeable. Let me see. About naked bike ride is here.
Yeah.
The naked bike ride in Portland. Huh?
Yeah, I made the mistake of watching one year, and oh my,
Nope.
It's worse than naked bowling.
Worse than, I don't know. That's naked bowling or something. I don't know. I mean, being naked is nice if you're by yourself or you're with somebody who doesn't mind seeing you naked. but if other people are subjected to your nakedness sort of against their will, I think it's just cruel, you know.
My covenant and I, we work naked.
Well, yeah, but that's expected, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like you just like randomly walk down the street naked, where other people around you are kind of not expecting it. That's the difference, you know. It's okay if you're naked and other people around you are expecting that or don't mind you being naked, but I don't think we should subject people to random nakedness. I mean, unless our society greatly changes in the next, you know, whenever, and we actually do walk around naked, but we're not really equipped for all seasonal nakedness. You know, we're hairless basically. So that's one of the reasons why we wear clothes, is to stay warm, and also to have, and also it's very much involved
It's out
in
of necessity. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also very much wrapped up in our social order. You know, like certain people wear certain clothes, you know, like what status they are, you know, what they're like, if they're business or casual or whatever, or uniform. I mean, so we've also kind of, I mean, our society is also very ingrained in clothing. So
unfortunately.
Well, I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's just the way it is. I mean, personally, like if you could imagine like witches who supposedly worked skyclad in, let's say, for the New Forest area in the middle of winter.
That'd be a lot of shrinkage.
Not in outside. They work outside, are you saying? In the middle of winter outside naked?
Yes. No Could you, way. I mean, that's why they had to have a big, huge bonfire.
Yeah. I mean, maybe their skin's used to that. You know, they do that sort of thing in the middle of winter, but I mean, I wouldn't.
No. I mean, it would be freezing cold. I mean, that would not be healthy. I mean, no. So I mean, I don't think that we're just not designed for it, especially like in, I mean, America, yeah, in the summertime, you could probably get away with it. But in other parts of the world, no, not really. So, all right. So it looks like we got everybody in here. We got 4 people in here, so this is good. So we're going to be talking about magic and what we think it is and what the difference is between magic, intention, and prayer. So we're going to go ahead and from my screen, we're going to go Renee. One Wiccan High Priest, what do you prefer to be called?
You can call me Bailiff. That's my path name.
Bailiff?
Bailiff, yes.
Okay, Bailiff, and then Loki's Witch. So we'll go Renee, Bailiff, Loki's Witch, and then myself. So Renee, how would you define magic, like in the context of working magic?
Manipulating energy to gain a result.
I don't have anything.
Okay. And Bailiff?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to adjust my audio settings here because this sounds a little bit bassy to me. So I was trying to adjust so I could hear it better. What is the question?
How would you define magic?
How do I define magic?
Yeah.
Well, manipulating energies that are around you, manipulating them to make changes in your life as you see fit.
Okay. And Loki?
I'd have to agree with them with the manipulating the energy around you, and also in the mind, helping putting yourself back into a mindset to see things that you may not normally see throughout the day, such as auras and all that, is manipulating the energy and your inner self.
Okay.
To the point of where you need it to be.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I pretty much I agree with everybody what everybody said, and yeah, I mean, the way I perceive it is like how Aleister Crowley saw it, and that was, the ability to cause change to occur in conformity with the one's will. So basically, you are willing, you're causing something to change to happen. So that's how I would define it. Then we're just kind of like getting some definitions out of the way so we know what we're talking about. So what would be the difference between intention and prayer from magic, in your opinion, Renee?
Intention to me is going to be more of the specific, it's more action based to me. Prayer can be sometimes seen as a wish. However, to me, that line is also pretty blurred because I also pray to the deities or the spirits that I work with, whether either way. So for me, it kind of can go either way. It just more, I think it's situational based because that prayer can be an intention, but not all prayers are intentions. Does that make sense? Kind of like all tigers are cats, but not all cats are tigers.
Yeah, I understand it. And again, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I think it's just how we perceive it. So I understand that, Renee. And what about for you, Bailiff? How would you define the difference between intention and prayer and magic?
Define the difference between intention and prayer. Well, your intention is, it's pretty clear what your intention is when you are working magic. It's what you intend to do with that magical energy that you are trying to manipulate. And you can utilize prayers in such a way to define your intent with what you intend to do with that magical energy. So it's almost synonymous. One is almost synonymous with the other. You can use the prayer to define your intent. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Well, I'm just trying to get people's perspective on how we perceive things. So that's, like I said, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. It's just understanding how each, because there's 4 of us, chances are we all have a different opinion about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, and now, what would you say is the difference between an intention in prayer, if any, or did I miss that?
I'm sorry. Were you talking to me again?
Yeah, I just was. It's okay. I think you answered that, so never mind. You're good.
All right.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. A Loki switch.
Intention is when you're like, I intend this to happen. I will this to happen. I'll do anything I can to make this happen. A prayer is asking. You're asking for something. Intention is when you want to make sure it happens. But in the end, prayer is almost like I'm wishing for this and putting it into the universe. Intention's like I'm going to make sure it happens. But like you said, a tiger can be a cat, but a regular cat can't be a tiger, kind of thing. It also depends on the person. For me, it's intention. You want it to you're pushing it to happen. A prayer is you're asking for it too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And the way I see it is like magic is definitely like, it's your will. It's what you want. And you could call it an intention, but that's what I perceive as magic. Intention I see is something that you want to happen. Like you kind of intend to happen. It's sort of like you can have an intention going on in the background, kind of always running. Whereas magic is something that you do it once and you put it in motion and it's expected to happen. That's just the way it is. Intention is like you can have almost like a candle burning in the background or something that you are focusing your intention on. That's how I perceive intention. And prayer, I perceive it's kind of like let's say you have a direct line to such and such. Like this is what you want to happen. You have one line going to that effect that you want to happen. You're causing that change to occur in conformity with your own will. Going through prayer is kind of like going through a secondary channel. It's kind of like you're praying to a deity or whatever you believe that to be to cause something to change. So it's kind of, yes, you are causing something to change or intending it to happen, but instead of using your will to do it, you're actually petitioning another deity or petitioning something else to cause that to change. That's how I see the difference between those three things. So that's okay. And any final comments on it?
No, I had misunderstood the question. That I guess but I understand now the way that you explain it. So that makes much more sense to me. That difference between the two.
All right. And any final thoughts on that, Renee?
Well, I think everyone here, especially if they may be in a better frame of mind. So I think I 100% agree with pretty much what everyone else said about it. I think that just was a lot more well spoken. I'm also kind of on that edge where a prayer can be to a very loose extent to me, depending on the type of prayer. It could be spell work. So to more, I guess, explain what I mean is that's where the line blurring is, because at the same time some prayers can have intentions, so that's why I was saying it was more, I guess, situational to specific, because then the prayer can have an intention too. But I do agree with the fact that just the average, Abrahamic prayer, that is a request. The intention is more, I expect this to happen. So pretty much just echoing what everyone else said to an extent.
Okay. And Loki, what about you? Any final thoughts?
No, you guys have pretty much said it pretty well and on the dot.
Okay. Yeah.
To the same of what I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like Renee had mentioned earlier, it's kind of like there's the blanket term for something, then there's defined terms within that, Like I think you had said something about like all lions are cats, but not all cats are lions. So
exactly.
yeah. So it's kind of that. It's kind of like, I mean, magic, intention, and prayer are pretty close together. I think we can all pretty much agree on that. They're not that far away from each other. It's just there's slight variations between each one of them, and each one of us even has a slightly different interpretation of each one. So So it's not like we're trying to come to an agreement here. We're basically just sharing our opinions about how we perceive it. And I like to kind of get a little bit of things defined before we start getting into some of the more meatier topics of it. So so the next thing about magic is, how does it work, Renee? Or what is our opinion of how it works?
I believe, just hang on with me for a minute when I try to explain my theory. I think that we all, to an extent, are channels of something that is so much bigger, which some will call source, or what I consider all. I'm a pantheist, just to kind of make that easier for everyone to kind of see where I'm coming from. So with everyone having that channel or that direct connection to what is everything, we use that direct connection to either pull or to give, depending on the situation, to make that happen. So whether if it needs a large amount of energy or if we're giving back, it really kind of depends. But pretty much what I think is, we pull from that channel, we are able to push the direction, or for instance, a compass into the direction of where we want a certain situation, or even bigger, the direction of our lives to go. And that can be done metaphysically, just spiritually based on belief, or through mundane tasks. So there's not, for me personally, there's not a huge difference between all three, because I think they're just as effective. For instance, you can do a lot of spell work to get money, or you can just work your ass off, or you can be like a lot of us where we do both. So when it comes to that aspect, I just think that we utilize that channel to connect that whatever's bigger to create, I guess, ripples into what we consider the universe to gain certain results. I know that it's so really loose, but that's just how I can explain it. It's hard to explain.
It is not an easy question. I'm definitely going to grant you that. But no, I understood you, and I appreciate that. And Bailiff?
Oh, crap. Lost the audio.
Bailiff, you make me feel very young. Thank you. I'm just kidding.
Don't mess around with it.
Do you want us to come back to you? I think we'll come back to him. Loki?
Well, I think with magic, honestly, for me to see it work is after you do the whole working on trying to manipulate energy and stuff like that. To me, seeing it work can be in small things, or seeing karma come quickly to someone.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if you can hear me, but all of a sudden I have lost I can't hear.
Yeah, we hear you.
Uh-oh.
If you want to get it figured out and come back, that's perfectly fine. One, I don't know if you can hear me, Bailiff, but what I'll do, yeah, and then you're welcome to come back when you get it worked out. So, okay, I'm sorry, Loki, go ahead.
With how magic works, sometimes it's the results. Sometimes you feel the energy, or you feel something gone that you were trying to get rid of. It's almost I would have to say by feel, because I do a lot of the healing type of stuff, or energy work, or cord cuttings and removal and staging and blessing and fun stuff like that. But I mean, for me, like I said, anytime I feel like it might be working is either I feel a calming presence or just energies. It's one of those weird kind of things. And if, say, you're doing something to encourage karma to come to somebody quicker, it's sometimes you are watching it play back in High Cat. But I think it's more of feeling the energy either change or become lighter around you that you can really feel magic or anything else working.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I think it's a really good question. I think. Oh, okay. Sorry. Hey, Thorn. Yeah, so you can come and you can hop on for however long you like. So I will send you. Let me see. Let me shoot you an invite via Facebook. Thorn Rose Witch. Yeah, she has some good insight. Be good to hear from her. So my apologies. Hold on one second. Okay, Ken, Thorn Rose Witch, let me send you. I'm going to message you the link. Just click it and join us. If you have any problem, let me know. Okay, so yeah, yeah. Magic is a really good question, exactly how it works. To be honest, I haven't really figured out how it works. The way that hey, he's back. So the way that I approach it is I assume it's just going to work. I just assume it's going to happen, and then I go through the motions of doing it. And it's been my experience that it does work. But if I look back like a chain of events. Okay, Kendra. So if I look back, I can see a chain of events that lead to something, and you can explain it. It's not like something popped into existence from nowhere. You can actually see a chain of events. Like, let's say you get X amount of money, or you have something work in your favor. You can actually kind of change. You can actually like follow the chain of events leading up to it. At some point, it's just like gets so abstract you can't follow it anymore. But you can kind of follow certain things to understand how something happened. So I believe that working magic somehow influences the future where those chain of events begin to happen. I don't know on what level. I don't know exactly how. I don't know if I just make it up all in my mind, which is a possibility. But that's how I perceive magic, at least. So, hey, how's it going, Bailiff? You doing all right there? I think he might still be having problems. So, hey, Bailiff, I don't know if you can hear me, but you don't seem to be responding. So maybe what you can do is mute yourself while you get it figured out. Can you hear me? No, you don't hear me. You're not hearing my voice, right? Okay. Mute yourself. Up there, there's a way to mute yourself. Okay, I don't know sign language. Let me see. El muto. Oh, there we go. You got it. How do I describe mute?
There's a chat box thing that you can click on, Logan, and type.
Logan. Yeah,
Testing, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
I thought I could leave my headset off and you can hear me still through my microphone, but I guess not. I hate headphones.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the only way you can talk to us, huh? Yeah. Well, what about if you put them around your neck?
Still hear me okay?
Yeah. That way we can still hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But can you?
All right.
But can you hear?
Good. All right.
But
cool. Perfect. Because I just don't like it over my ears. I hate that feeling. I don't know how people can do it, but I don't like it. That's just.
I don't know. I don't know how they do it either. But what about? Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, great,
good.
Awesome. So that was my definition of how magic works or what magic is. What about you, Bailiff? Were you able to follow that, or were you distracted by having dealing with the headphone issue?
Yeah, I was a little distracted, so you might have to.
That's okay. Okay, so the question was, how would you define magic, or how do you think magic works?
Well, first, very first thing, first step is the person has to come in contact with themselves and to have close communion with themselves and know themselves, as much as they can. Just that they know who they are and how much they are capable of doing. They can't just go willy-nilly off the cuff and say, "Oh, I'm going to practice magic," without first getting inside themselves, getting to know themselves a little bit. Because if they don't know, if they don't know themselves at all, they're not going to know just what they're capable of or what they're not capable of. And if they go and try and manipulate energies around, and it's just not a good thing, in my opinion. So the first step is the person has to get to know themselves first.
Okay, Bailiff, you're going in and out.
Man, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm sorry you're having so much trouble. Do you want to maybe try? Do you want to maybe join us next week, or?
Give it.
Let me just while he's doing this, let me just see. So hey, Kendra, I sent you an invite. If you want to hop on. Call me Kendra. So Kendra, yeah. So I sent you an invite via Facebook. Let me know if you got that. I could also tweet it to you.
Well, she's told you to tweet it to her.
She did? Okay, thank you. Thanks for keeping an eye on the chat.
Gotta love her ceiling.
Always something, isn't it? I hate it when technology just doesn't work out. It's like, it's so frustrating. So I really sympathize with your situation, Bailiff. Oh, he's gone. That was Renee making all that noise.
Yep.
Hey, I'm here to get a soda.
So hey. Oh, okay. All right. So hey, Bailiff. Sorry you're having problems, but if you want, you're welcome to jump on next week. But if you get your headphone situation worked out, please hop on again. Let me see. Okay, so hopefully Kendra will be joining us. There she is. Hey, how's it going, Kendra? Got herself muted. There she is. You're muted. Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yeah.
Awesome, yeah. Like I said, I was about to go to bed, and then when you guys were talking about all this stuff, I'm like, no, I'm gonna jump on in. I just need to quickly get some kind of clothing on.
You had to throw on pants.
You were talking about nudity and ritual before, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should get dressed and join them.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube would allow us to have an all nude hangout.
Well, I wasn't totally nude, but I was wearing, let's say, not enough clothes how I would like to present myself publicly here on YouTube.
I don't know, but my viewer rating might go way up. So
mine is one, but that's not how I want to gain ratings.
Man, we got to go to Hellbound's hangout on Saturdays. She's got 3 nude chicks on.
My cat starts meowing. Maybon, stop it.
All right, so let's see. Okay, so
what happened here? We lost somebody, or
Yeah, so we lost Bailiff, and
He's
now
back.
he's back. So
He's back.
let's see how's it going, Bailiff? We can't hear you. You're very faint. You're just very quiet.
Hey, boy.
So, so in the meantime, while he's trying to get, and also, I hear myself in the background, David. So, I'm just going to mute you, David, and then when you get it figured out, just type it in the chat, and I'll unmute you. Okay. So, Kendra, so you heard kind of like what we were talking about, and
Yeah,
so,
I heard everything.
okay, so we'll just kind of back up a little bit and get your definition for what you believe, how you would define magic, intention, prayer, and then what you believe magic is and how it works, or how it works, not what it is.
Okay, so start with what I believe magic is. For myself, magic and science are one of the same. Magic is just what science hasn't chosen to publicly acknowledge yet. Like when you think in things like hypnotism, at one point was considered magic or was shunned by science, now it's actually used. Same things with newer practices, well, not newer, but more popular in the West now, things such as Reiki or energy work. Even acupuncture could have been considered magic at one point. So I believe magic, science, spirituality, they all kind of tie in together. And magic itself is like, I agree with what all of you were saying, it's a manipulation of energies to your intent or your will.
Okay. And what would you define intention and prayer?
All right, testing.
Intention and prayer. I see that as very one, and it's one and the same, and yet they're separate. Like you said it really well, Hellbound Heathen, that they touch. Everything kind of touches. Prayer to me would be more of, I would say like a wish or a request, or we also pray maybe in honor of something or of deity, where intent is more focused and more direct. And you're pushing your intent towards something because you know it's going to happen, for example.
Okay. And just so we can all kind of get caught up, and what do you think? How do you think magic works?
I think magic works into tapping into these because, as we all agree, it's a manipulation of energy or the energies around us. So it would be for us tapping into that energy, connecting to it. And these would be natural energy forces within the earth. Even electricity, you could view it as electricity waves you're tapping into. So we're tapping into this energy and we're manipulating it with our intention, with our minds, with our goal, with our true will to create focus, and we're projecting it out. People say projecting out to the universe. You could say projecting it just outside of the self to bring to yourself. I view everything which helps me in my visualization that I'm throwing it out through the cosmic web to come back around to me to manifest as I will. But that's my way of viewing it. Everyone has their own way, but it comes down to the same thing in the end.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and kind of like as I touched on before, I don't think that we're all gonna come to an agreement or be able to really put a value on what is. What am I trying? I'm basically trying to say I understand this is all our opinion. I don't think we're going to come to an agreement on this, nor do I think there's any really right or wrong answer. I think we're just kind of like sharing our own perspective on it, and that's really all that we're doing at this point. So let me just check in with Bailiff because I had him muted. See if I can unmute him. Okay. Hey, Bailiff, how's it going?
It's going. You can hear me now? Yes. Yes. There we go.
Yeah, you were
now?
a little. Yes. Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So have you been following the conversation?
Sort of.
Yeah, no, it's kind of difficult.
I'm sorry. Sorry. You had asked me before. Having trouble. You had asked me something about magic. Now I can't remember what you asked.
Right. Yeah. You're still.
Is there
I think
something
you-
wrong with your mic?
All right. Is it any better? Hello?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it's much better.
And I think. If you,
Okay. Is that better?
yeah. And I think, Bailiff, if you kind of just. If. Yeah, it sounds like it's doing well.
Okay.
All right. So.
All right. The problem I was having just briefly is that I had a microphone built into the webcam, and I had to disable that microphone so I could use this microphone. That's why there was so much feedback.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. So, so the question was, how do you believe magic works?
Okay. Well, being a high priest as long as I have, being a teacher, I have to answer first by saying that before a person can even approach working any kind of magic, they have to get to know themselves a little bit, and to know who they are, and what things they are capable of doing, what things they are not capable of doing. They have to find out what kind of person they are, because if somebody just goes to working magic without finding about who they are, the magic could be tainted in some way. You know, they could be approaching it for all the wrong reasons. They could be approaching it with the wrong desires in mind. You know, it's just all about, I think, you got to make sure that your motives are pure. You know, and so once you do get to know yourself, you start to work that magic. You get to know how to manipulate your own energy, because that's the energy. That's what you're going to be using to create the magic. Is you are using your own energy. So you have to get in touch with yourself and get in touch with that energy. And from there you can learn to manipulate it.
Okay. So I think I answered the question earlier myself too. So let me see here. So now, okay, so we have a good idea of how we perceive magic, how we perceive intention, and how we perceive prayer, and also our own opinions about how we perceive magic work. Now, and I think we all kind of, and especially you touched on this a little bit, Bailiff, about talking about like how magic might not work, or how. So let's put it this way: how magic may not work, or maybe have an intention that we didn't mean to be an intention, or maybe if we've ever had any experience with that, or what we believe might happen, or what we believe might lead to that. I don't know if I gave a clear enough question or not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Renee, I'm going to go to Bailiff, I'm going to go to Loki, then I'm going to come back to Kendra, and then myself. So Renee?
The reason why you may get a result that may seem skewed, but not necessarily match up to the intention you had in mind is what is the specificity of the spell? Because one of two things will happen. You could be really, really specific, and that spell's going to take a really, may take longer to do, or you can have it more loosely based, and it can happen quickly. But if you do it that way, you may get a somewhat altered result. The reason why is I personally believe magic works in the path of least resistance, or aka statistics. So what is more likely going to happen? You want this specific redhead who happens to be a Pisces with a moon in Capricorn, and you want to meet her on a Sunday. Well, if you want a specific person, that's going to take a really long time if you have that target. Now, if you just want to meet a redheaded Pisces, you may meet a different redheaded Pisces. So it's going to be whatever distance to get to. Now, if you're really, really specific on that target, you may find yourself lighting a lot of candles and doing a lot of ritual to make that specific thing happen. However, if you can find a balance between the two, then you can get close enough. Now, if you want specific results, then a lot of times that'll take time. But pretty much my idea of magic, it works in statistics. So what is statistically going to be easier to happen? those are going to be the closest and easiest results to get. I'm sorry, I'm like stuttering for some reason. So
no, it's okay. I understood you. Bailiff.
I'm sorry, I don't think I quite understand your question. Could you repeat your question?
I hope so. I hope I can remember it. Let me see. I think.
How do you ensure that you have the right intention? Is that what you're asking? How do you ensure you have the right intention? Something?
Yeah, I mean, basically, how magic might not work, or how it might happen, not intending the way that you intended it to work, or possibly how it might, what might lead up to that, in your opinion.
By not putting enough thought into what your desire is. I think that's really where you need to start. Really think about your desire, what it is that you want to achieve out of this magic. And write it down. Write it down. Make it more concrete in your mind by writing down exactly what you hope to achieve with this magic. And then define it clearly and specifically. And that's very important when you're trying to define the components of your magic, of your spell. Is you have to make sure that each and every component of that spell is specific. Otherwise, you'll either get undesired results or you'll get no results at all. So, and then very closely on the heels of that is your actual belief in what you are doing. If you go into it with a half-ass kind of, oh man, I hope this works, it's probably not going to work. You have to utterly believe in yourself, and you have to utterly believe in your ability to manipulate your own energy to make this work. So when you're working that spell, it's best, in my opinion, that you have already established in your mind that this spell is going to be successful. And then once you've done it, it already is successful. It is already working in your life. You no longer need to think about it. It's working. That's the best way that I can explain how to make sure that you're going to get what you are asking for.
Okay. And what about you, Loki?
Well, honestly, I do have to agree. It's does deal with statistics. It can be 50-50. It can be it's gonna work, it's not gonna work, but it is, if you have the intention when you're going in to do it, that is the biggest thing. If you don't have the intention of, I want this is gonna happen, let's do this, there's a bigger area for failure. But not all spells always work. Like Renee was explaining, when you're targeting a specific person, that one's going to take a lot longer than just a blanket one of any one of this. I mean, there's some things that I've read on some people's spells that they have done that, it takes 7 to 10 days to finish the spell because you have to do something every single day for it. It's like, holy crap. You really, really, really wanted to get this person. But there is the intent is the biggest role in it all, in my eyes as well. I mean, it's easy to go out there and go, this place is cleansed, but if you really don't have the intention to cleanse it and you're just doing it because, well, it's part of the routine, then it's not necessarily gonna be. I'm going to say this again like a broken record. It is, if you have the intent of something. If you're just doing it to do it, then best bet is it may not work.
Okay. And Kendra?
Yeah, I agree with Loki. It's like it all relies very much on the intent, which I would apply calling it your true will. You have to truly will it. You have to truly intend it, but you also have to really want to do it, not just intend it because maybe someone's paying you to do it, or you want to impress somebody, or you just want to create a show, or like Loki brought up, routine. You have to truly in your heart want to do it. So you have to have what love, you could say, love for the act itself, love for the intention to push it through. And I believe that a lot of times magic don't work because people are just following something that's written down by someone else. a book or something they find on the internet, or they're just doing it because they feel in order to be part of a certain tradition that that's what they got to do, and it's not truly 100% in their heart. They just want to be a part of something, or they just want to try something out. When it comes to doing magic for another person or on somebody, you could say that's very tricky, because if you're Wiccan or not, like in Wicca, they'll say it comes back to you ×3. I don't believe in a threefold law, but I do believe in the law of nature, universal law of energy. It does come back to you one way or another. And that also goes not just for anything negative. I honestly believe that also is for anything positive. If I'm doing a healing, let's say, or something positive for a friend, but they don't know about it, I'm still manipulating their will or trying to go against that person's will, or doing something behind their back. You could say, even if it's with a good intent, that could still backfire on me because they're not willingly open to receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why a lot of people, especially within Wiccans, I hear this a lot, not so much other practitioners, but especially in Wicca, there's a growing number who will not practice witchcraft. They follow Wicca, the religion, but will not do magic because they're overthinking or overanalyzing exactly what we're talking about now. How things could come back on you, or the manipulation of someone's will, or spells that won't work, backfire on you. And I believe everything is really, really needs to be well researched and thought out. And what no one seemed to mention, which is very important, we have to act on the human level. So don't just do a spell and expect to do nothing. You have to work in the real world, in the profane world or the mundane world, to make those actions happen. You're manipulating energy, but you also have to do something. You have to move it by moving yourself towards that action as well.
Good point.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, Kendra, what we'll do is that'll be the next topic. We will talk about that. So, yeah. So to answer my own question, and I'm sorry the way I posed it earlier, it was kind of clumsy. But it sounds like you all pretty much caught it. But yeah, I think that there's several reasons why a spell might not work. One is, if you were doing a spell against someone else's will, like basically you're trying to influence somebody in some way or somehow cause something to happen to them, you're basically going against their will. And there are people in this world who don't practice magic who have a pretty strong will. So if you are trying to influence someone who has a strong will, it's not going to work. It might even backfire on you. That's my opinion. The other thing is, it's kind of like the genie in the bottle. It's kind of like, you rub the genie comes out and says, "What is your wish, master?" And you word your wish, but you kind of screw it up and it comes true. And that's not what you intended to happen. And then you realize later on, oh shit, but that's what I wanted to happen.
Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also appreciate what Kendra mentioned about having that love, having that will and that intention. I think that you really have to be emotionally involved in what you want to happen. If you're kind of like going through the motions, like you're sitting there and you're reading a book and you're like, blah, 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 and you're just reading the book and it doesn't really have any meaning for you, and you do it, I don't see it's going to happen. You really kind of have to be emotionally involved in it. You really have to put something behind it for that intention to, in my opinion, to actually manifest and carry out. So, any last thoughts on this before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this.
I'm sorry, Bailiff. Let's go in order. Renee, any last thoughts on this?
No. I mean, I know we need to work on things on a mundane level because as above, so below. I just didn't say it because it wasn't part of the question. But I mean, I agree with what everyone really had to say. I mean, I think it's all pretty accurate. I mean, it's pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry. Now, Bailiff.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I really didn't know there was an
okay.
order here. I'm sorry. I
That's
apologize. Yeah, no. As a matter of fact, what I had to say, just go ahead. I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Because this is the first time you're in this chat. But what I'd like to do is try to just kind of like go down the line, give everybody a chance to talk on the topic. Loki, any last thoughts on this?
No, I think it was touched on good, and I do agree with the human element behind it as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we'll talk about the topic that Kendra introduced, which is the human element. So how would you phrase that question, Kendra?
The human element. What I mean is work on it yourself within a mundane level. Sometimes my English isn't the best, but when I say the human level, I guess you could say that, right? The human level, the mundane level, the profane level. So for example, I want to, well, here, something that came up with a client at work today. I work in an esoteric shop, and she was speaking to my manager, and this woman wants to get pregnant. Now, she couldn't understand when we were trying to explain to her work on the human level. She thought everything had to be magical. Mind you, she's getting artificially inseminated. Okay, so she's not doing it the natural way. However, it's my boss was explaining to her, my manager explained to her that, well, do things. You want a baby, so go where baby toys are. You know, eat baby food like baby carrots, miniature stuff. You know, just put that into your head. On a human level, it makes total sense. Like if I want to create a certain amount of money, obviously for a real reason, not winning a lottery, but I need a little extra 1 month, I'm going to actually go and try and do extra work, seek out extra hours at my job. I might do some kind of magic to influence that yes, there will be hours available or extra days or something, but I'm going to actually go and physically do the work. It's like doing money to, I'm not money, but a spell, sorry, I'm tired, a spell to try and find a job. You can't just find a job spell, do it, and sit back and expect someone to call you up or send you an email saying you're hired. You have to physically go out and apply for the jobs.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So Bailiff, do you understand that question?
Well,
or maybe it's a comment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it didn't seem like much of a. It wasn't so much a question, more of a statement, I guess. What I can say is that from my own personal experience, there's been a lot of times where I'll have a desire, right? I'll have a particular desire, and I know what I want, and I won't even get to the spell working part of it, but I'm already unconsciously sort of doing stuff in my life to kind of drive that desire, and then all of a sudden I find out, oh, wait a minute, I got what I desired, but I didn't have to do any magic to get it, but I got it anyway. You know, so I don't know exactly how that happens, but it has happened numerous times where, you know, I'll have that desire in mind, and you know, I must be unconsciously doing something to help bring it about, and all of a sudden it has come about, but yet I don't think I've actually done any magic for it. You know, but you know, so. But yeah, I do have to agree. You know, there is the human element, definitely. You know, you can't just do magic and sit back and expect that, oh well, the magic will take care of itself. I don't have to do anything else. You know, that's not the way it works. You know, there's a price. Magic. You know, there is a price. You have to go out. You gotta do what you can to help bring that magic about, not just do a spell and say a few words and hope it's gonna work. No. You know, you have to, you know, Kendra said, have that. Yeah.
Okay. And Loki, what about you?
With me, it's also, like you said, if you're trying to, for a certain thing, like with a baby, obviously items that represent a baby need to be clothing, food, stuffed animals, different things like that. If you're trying to attract something, you have to put all of the will and attention into that thing. And even when it's like, okay, I need to do a luck spell for this or that or this, you go towards things that represent luck. Most people think, oh, the luck of the Irish, so green, or money is green, so green stuff, or so on and so forth. Or silver is expensive, so get something that's silvery like tinfoil and wrap it around something. And it all depends. on the spell because it depends on your will and your want towards it. If you're working with trying to do one thing, you will find anything that goes with it. Like even with a love or attraction spell, what color comes to mind? Pink or red? Or if you're doing something like, well, we want rain, you're gonna use blue or do storm clouds or something, and you will either keep that color or that image or things that are similar in mind for it. But as long as you keep it in the mind, sometimes it'll happen, sometimes, well, barely instantly, or it will take time. But you always have to keep it in mind until the desired effect is hit. Or as I've always believed it to be.
Okay. Sounds okay. Sounds kind of like you were talking about correspondences to Magick. But I mean, okay. So I think the question was more about understanding that in the mundane world, we still have to act upon things. Would that be right, Kendra? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it was more.
Okay, then I misunderstood the question. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. So did you want to talk on that particular topic?
With the mundane thing, having to interact it with the world and everything around you.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
never really thought about it actually, because having to try to push your will upon someone, I've never tried that. If someone goes, well, can you send energy or prayers? Then I do that. It's one of those, I don't push it upon somebody if they don't want it or if they haven't asked for it. That's just how I am. And it's just one of those, working with it around around the area. It's, if someone's like, well, can you send energy, I'll light a candle for them. But I haven't really thought about that actually. I haven't had any instance to where it caused me to think about how it works with the normal world in the beginning. So honestly, it's one of those questions that I'm still at the, I've never thought about it.
okay.
So you guys got me with a new one.
Okay, well, that's all right. Now, Renee, did I skip you or did you answer this?
I think you may have skipped me.
I'm sorry about that, Renee. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. The best thing I can say is I agree. I mean, especially on the mundane aspect, like for instance, I'm a late or return to school college student, and I went back later in life. And so I can do spell work all day long to push the paperwork and make sure I get all these things happen. But in the end, it's about the time that I take to make certain things a priority to reach those goals academically as well. I mean, spells aren't going to necessarily give me A's on everything, so it's just that aspect, or that similar metaphor for everything else. The same amount of work has to happen on this plane for you to make things happen, to, I guess, give it more specificity. It really is just important. You just can't do a whole bunch of love spells, but at the same time not work on loving yourself. Those common attributes that we discuss a lot in this, I guess, dimension, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, and yeah, I appreciate that comment, Kendra, because I agree with you. I think that we have to still work in the mundane world. You still have to go through all those various motions to get something done. You can't just expect stuff to, quote unquote, magically appear for you. It just doesn't happen that way. I think if you want to get pregnant, well, you're going to have to get busy. I mean, that's just the way it is. Not like you have to sit there and say, oh, I want to get pregnant. Let's hope it happens.
Let's buy a moonstone, yeah.
I know I should sit on a toilet seat. That got my sister pregnant. No, but
oh, you're so bad.
but So yeah, so you have to act in the mundane world. And I think when it comes to situations where, yes, like let's say you want a relationship, you want a baby, you want a job, you want better grades, you want this, you want that, those things are going to be better achieved not through magic by itself, but by you actually going through the motions. So like, let's say you need better grades. Well, maybe what you can do is you can do something in magic to better make, give yourself better focus, give yourself better retention, make sure that you understand things, try to kind of do something in the realm of yourself and knowledge and concentration and being focused on things. Same thing with a job. It's like, yes, you can do magic for a job, but you got to go out there and put in resumes. So you could also do spells to gain confidence, to gain appeal. So other people like you, perceive you as in a positive position, perceive you as a responsible person, even if you're not a responsible person, but kind of like, get people to perceive those things about you. Same thing with a love spell. I mean, love spell. Now, this is, I mean, a lot of people believe that love spells, what you're doing is you're causing someone else to fall in love with you or causing someone to be attracted to you. In my opinion, that's putting the horse before the cart. What you want to do is you want to, first of all, know exactly what it is that you want. Then you also want to make yourself more appealing, more attractive to other people, so that when you do meet somebody who you are attracted to, you can also feel confident and feel like this, you're giving your best foot forward. Because if you do a love spell upon someone and they do fall in love with you, you might later find out that you don't love them. And then you kind of got this person following you around like a lost puppy.
I actually encourage against the use of using love spells myself, but it's just me.
Okay. Yeah. So so that mundane factor definitely needs to come into play. And I think any last comments on that, Kendra?
You know what? I had something, but then you mentioned the sitting on the toilet seat to get pregnant, and the thought left my head. No, because Renee touched on something. That's it. She mentioned work, and yeah, that's it. You have to work. Magic is work. It's not easy, and a lot of people think magic is a band-aid, a fix-all band-aid, and it's not. And you have to work. You're doing magic. You're working not just in the magical world, but you have to put the efforts in to the physical world as well.
Yeah. Okay. And Renee, any last thoughts?
If you're thinking about finding love, one great way on the human or mundane plane to make sure that you're more likely to find the lover, and this is just as a woman, take regular showers. Most people will forget the importance of normal, typical hygiene. Y'all laugh at me now, but if you've ever been to a Comic-Con and ever been hit on, I'm just telling you, your chances will greatly increase if you're the one person in a stinky room that actually took a shower, because we'll notice. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. Good advice. Bailiff, any last thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Loki's?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Wow, okay. Renee pretty much silenced the whole panel.
Yeah. The importance of showers at Comic-Con is a real struggle. People don't understand.
I work at an anime convention. I understand it. It is horrible.
I'm so sorry.
It's disgusting.
On behalf of humanity, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you look at people, you go, here's some soap. It's called a shower. Go take one. Or just go stand outside. It's raining.
Right. So it sounds like you did have some last thoughts there, Loki.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, okay. All right. So yeah, so I think I agree. I think that was a really good point to throw in there, Kendra, about the human world, the mundane world. So now let's talk about, so we're sort of talked about this, but now what we can do is we can talk a little bit about morality and magic and what we think about how we include our own morals or our own opinions about spells, about how spells that go against people's wills, or possibly curses or hexes. And within that kind of aspect, what do you think, Indra?
I think I touched on this briefly before about going against the person's will. Basically, I believe in universal law and law of return. So whatever you do, be it negative, positive, however you want to view it, whatever energy you raise, it's coming from within the self. All magic comes from within the self. So if you're going to do hexes and curses or always raising negative energy, you're going to create negative. You're like a magnet, right? For that same energy, it's coming back on you. You also have to look at it like a boomerang. Whatever you toss out is turning around back at you, good or bad. So I'm not saying that I don't believe in curses and that, because I work with conjure work. However, I believe if you're going to go that route, and even in classical Wicca, it's the same thing. They're not saying not to do it, not to hex, but have a damn good reason for it and realize the repercussions. Be prepared to take in the repercussions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, but I don't believe, honestly, in going against someone's will. You know, like, you want to do something to help someone, let them know. At least see if it's okay with them. Maybe they're not okay with it. And if you don't say anything to them, it's going to still backlash on you, because their own aura is going to protect them. Their own spirit is going to protect them because they don't want it. That's
okay.
basically it. As far as morals go, that would be it for me.
Okay. Renee?
It's gonna sound horrible, make me sound like a horrible person. I have very few morals and ethics when it comes to spellcraft.
I have no moral.
I think
At least she's honest.
magic. I think magic and the crafter and esoteric practice, the occult, insert your fancy work for whatever the hell this shit is pretty limitless. And you as an individual can be just as limitless. However, that doesn't, I feel like there is a form of restraint that's needed. I feel there is a form of discipline. I do believe an act is only if it's necessary, but however, what's necessary for me may not be what's necessary for you. And so that doesn't mean I'm going out throwing out hexes left and right. However, it's like, for instance, one of the situations I have dealt with within the last 6 months is there was somewhat of a situation, and there was some big stuff going on, and her boyfriend had his brakes went out in traffic, and then the very next day almost died in a fire at work. So we're dealing with those kinds of things. I have no ethics. I'm going to do whatever it takes in the act of protection in the path, and also maybe return to sender, who knows, but it's just at the same time, I do believe in that, and when it comes specifically to protection for myself, my family, those I care about, there really are very few boundaries, if any, at that point. Just because this house is a freaking fortress. But I mean, I don't personally, is also going to make me sound horrible, I don't believe in healing spells, because I can't. When it comes to people, I feel like we have the chance to have a hero story or a victim story. So depending on what those situations are, for me personally, those rock bottom, kitchen floor crying, like ugly Kim Kardashian crying moments were great opportunities for me to kind of step up and become the person I wanted to be. Had someone had magically or even financially or whatever the situation was fixed those problems, I wouldn't be who I am now, which is a pretty strong individual. So it's kind of like one of those situations. I kind of try to, I guess my biggest one, unless you're like kind of, I guess, really, really close, my biggest ethic is to mind my own business. But I know deep down I'm a gangster. It's okay. But I mean, I think
that's just good common sense.
I mean, I try to really mind my own business. I don't do love spells. I don't do healing spells. I'm in a relationship for 6.5 years, not a single love spell once. I really focused on attracting the right person for me and working through all of those through communication and just work and like normal people do. So, I mean, it's just kind of, just don't mess with anybody and mind your own business, and I think everyone will be okay. Now when it comes to politics and trying to protecting my town and all that kind of stuff, that's a whole nother thing. And politics, I have no ethics either, but hey, you do you know what I mean? I feel like there are bigger powers that work at play at that anyway, so it's not like it makes a huge amount of difference, but I still try. So That's my
Okay.
long story of
All right.
maybe, not really.
Okay. And bailiff.
Well, well, being a Wiccan and being trained the way I was, well, yeah, you have to take into account the morality of what we're about to do, the magic we're about to work. You have to take those things into consideration, who they might influence and who they're not going to influence. And the group I work with, we're primarily a healing group. We do healings for people. So we do have to kind of make sure that we get sort of consent from those people that we would like to perform healings on. So we get their consent before we do it. It's just so that they know what, if something happens, they know that, how I want to say it. So they're aware if changes occur in their life, so that they're not aware of it. So, but speaking in another sense, I was once faced with a very real attack. Somebody psychically attacked me very viciously, and it was a Satanist. It was a Satanist who attacked me. Very vicious attack. Tried to turn my own body against me, and I was forced to defend myself. And I did a return to sender spell, and well, that person is now suffering with cancer. So now, would he have developed the cancer had I not done anything? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. Who's to know? But I accept that it wasn't me. I didn't do that to him. It was his energy. His own energy did it to him because I took his energy that he sent to me, and I sent it back. So he did it to himself. That's the way I look at that. So I guess that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Loki switch.
Well, if anyone had ever paid attention to anything I said on my videos, I do believe in the idea of if you put something out, you will always expect something back. Even if you're putting out good energy, hey, maybe you'll get good energy back, maybe you won't, maybe you'll just get a happy feeling. But in the ideal of morals and morality, well, one, I work with Loki, so some morals are already out the door already. So there's that. I also work with Our Lady Death. Right there is another morals sometimes are out the door. But the thing is I myself have pretty strong morals. I don't lie, even though I do work with a god that tricks and uses lies. I don't steal. I don't do any of those kind of things. And if something belongs to somebody else, why take it? But when you look at the spans of doing certain spell work, say somebody wronged you, as in they lied to you, they took stuff, or they manipulated you. I honestly see no moral bound in sending something their way that's not so nice. And I will admit, I have done that before. And it's kind of one of those things of encouraging karma to activate a little bit more in your behalf. That's how I see it, is having karma activate a little bit. It's just one of those, yeah, you may have screwed me over, but here you go. But when it comes to morals, if you're going to work with certain things, you got to remember, if you have strong morals and strong beliefs in things, you may want to stride away from certain paths or certain deities and stuff like that you work with. Like I said, I do have certain morals that do conflict with what I work with, but it never seems to really be an issue. And in general, having good morals out in the world, it's probably a good thing. Please and thank you gets a lot of stuff done. Mm-hmm. Along with being honest and truthful. But there are some things when I look at morality, when people, oh, well, she looks like a slut. I'm like, well, you do too, but you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, so I'm not saying much. But I'm also an asshole at times.
Same.
So the morals, it depends on how you work, honestly. Whether your morals come into play or they just don't exist. It depends on what you personally feel. Yeah, that's my rambles on it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, and I think I agree with what most people have said in this. I don't know. Morality was kind of like the best word I could use for that. But I do, the way that I look at it is, from my perception, I perceive some people as being kind of still different levels of a path. You know, some of us are a little more skilled. Some of us are just really kind of beginning, but that doesn't necessarily mean aptitude. I think that there are some people who are kind of like coming up who have a lot of aptitude for magic. And then there's some people who have kind of been up there for a little bit, but don't have that much aptitude. So not necessarily.
That was Soren.
Oh, okay. All right.
Soren was yawning.
Are they still alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. All right.
They're still alive.
Okay. So they have different levels of aptitude. So like there's certain things that I just understand that I'll kind of like put up with. And then there's some things that I just don't worry about. Like Bailiff had mentioned, having that return to sender spell on oneself, or having natural defenses that are up all the time. So you don't have to worry about negative energy coming your way, because if it does, chances are it's going to return upon people. So I don't necessarily worry about that. I think that I look at my own personal practice as walking around with a loaded gun. Everybody who pisses me off, I don't pull out my gun and shoot them. That's just not what I do. There are other ways to deal with situations. There are infinite possibilities to fix a situation, much more effective, safe, and humane ways to deal with every situation. Not every situation deserves pulling out a gun and shooting somebody with it. If I am put into that position, I don't mind pulling it out, but it's not going to be, it's going to be my absolute last resort. It's not going to be what I do. And that's the way that I perceive it. I take it very realistic. I don't mess around. I don't joke. I don't threaten. I don't do any of that, because I absolutely believe that what I do will affect the world around me, and it will have ripple effects. So I just always try to be aware of that. And I've joked with people before, like if somebody really pisses me off at work, I'll send them on vacation. It solves the situation. They're out of my hair. They moved. They're away. They're gone. They're out of my life. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to do anything else. They're out of my life. They're away from me. So that's kind of like what I was thinking about with that. And I think that there were some really good opinions on that. Let me see. Does anybody have any ideas for a topic or a question that we could pose?
What is going on with my screen in the background? Okay.
What about you, Renee?
I'm actually was thinking of some. Actually, maybe. I have a list of questions I get asked all the time on my channel, so I might have like a couple of gems in there that I'm too lazy to answer my own damn self. So I gotta look at an index, because it's the only way.
Wow, you got a lot of questions.
Keep it together.
She's a lot more
this is not
than I am.
Really?
No, it's just because people nag and they get all upset, and you didn't answer my question for 6 months ago. I'm like, kiddo, I have a job. Okay. Ironically, the importance of ethics or not. That's literally one of these. What do you feel about karmic debt? I feel that might tie into going from, you know, talking about what we will and won't or will do or whatever, depending on your pathway. And then how do you think that affects you in the end? Or do you believe in karmic debt? Page. So if you like that question.
Okay, that sounds good. So maybe what we'll do is, Renee, you go ahead and answer that question, and then I'll bounce back to Kendra, and then we'll go the regular rotation from there. What do you think? All right.
That sounds good. I don't believe, ironically, I was raised a Buddhist, but I don't believe in karma. Personally, I do believe karma is more of a watered down version of universal law. And so when you come from that aspect, it's kind of like a parable in the Christian faith, how it was explained to me, at least. It was a really simple way to explain something that was a lot more complicated in a way that would make people nice to each other, because that came about in Buddhist and Taoist traditions during a really like hardcore time. So it's pretty vulgar time. But I don't really believe that we gain a karmic debt from life to life, or we get it for every single situation that we may cast or be quote unquote bad or sinful. But I do believe that you get what you put out in the simplest of terms. So I don't necessarily see it as a punishment. I just see like whatever like daily state that you're in on a continual basis, then that's what you're most likely going to get on a continual basis. So.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on that, Kendra?
I'm trying to figure out in my head how to narrow it down without it being a whole book in itself. There's so much I have to say on this subject, and I took a workshop on this a few months ago as well, which added on to what I was already believing. And I believe in universal law. I think the concept of karma is blown way out of proportion here in the West and within the quote unquote magical groups. And I think that karma is an Eastern concept, and it's much more complicated than what people make it out to be. It's not like a tit for tat, or I'm putting out good energy, so I'm going to get good energy, or I'm putting out bad energy, so bad energy is going to come back on me, or I'm going to be reborn as a frog or something because I was bad at some other level in this life. Or I don't personally, that's not my belief system, so I don't follow that. I do believe, though, yes, universal law, whatever I put out or whatever anyone puts out does have some kind of occurrence on them. Energy itself manipulates itself, good or bad. Energy is neutral, it's the intention behind it. So whatever energy you send out is going to come back to you, maybe not in the same way, but it will come back to you in one way or another. How you choose to perceive it, good or bad, is really up to you, how you see how it's affecting you. As far as karmic debt goes, this came up in that workshop, which I found pretty interesting, and I do kind of agree in it, and it's something that I'm actually kind of, it's a personal research or study, you could say, of mine right now. And the concept of that is that you can't learn everything there is to learn in one lifetime. So therefore we have several lifetimes. If you choose to reincarnate, it mixes in with reincarnation. And how, to put it in short, I'm trying to like narrow this down that it makes sense without going into so much detail. For example, let's say one lifetime you're a murderer, but you have to experience that in order for your soul to progress. But maybe you didn't fully learn your lesson in that life as being a murderer, and then you get born in this life, you're not a murderer, you never even think of harming a fly, but yet you have all these bad things happening to you, ill luck, people around you getting harmed, whatever, and that could be maybe this kind of payback because there's a lesson you didn't catch that you need to catch. That's one concept of it. Whether I believe in it 100% or not, I do and I don't, I can't really say on that right now.
Okay.
Any of that makes sense of what I just babbled?
Sorry, say it again for the people in the back about karma in the West. I was like, yes, like a woman in church. I'm like, oh, yes.
That was
I'm
good.
gonna calm down.
All right. All right. And Bailiff, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, sorry, Renee. Could you repeat what was the question? What was there a question there?
Yeah. How do you feel about karmic debt?
Oh, okay. How do you feel about karmic debt? Well, Kendra said a mouthful. I mean, she said a whole lot there. So there's very little that I can say without simply repeating what she said. And I totally believe with her. I totally agree with her. If you're working toward becoming aware of yourself and trying to become aware of the life lessons that you need to be learning, and then let's say along the way you begin to realize that, oh, wait a minute, you see all these patterns, you see things happening that kind of click together, and they kind of define for you what your karmic debt was supposed to be. Oh, I know now. Maybe that's what that was. Now, then you can start maybe proactively cleaning up your karma. But it all starts with yourself and getting to know yourself and being willing to accept parts of yourself that you might find distasteful, because it could be those parts of yourself that you find distasteful are precisely why you have a karmic debt you have to repay. So you have to really work toward that angle. I don't know what else to say, and I don't want to. I'm kind of confusing myself, but I'm trying to be clear too. Yeah. So I believe in it. Yeah. So.
Okay. Sounds good. And what about yourself, Loki?
Well, seeing that I did mention about pushing karma along or acting it out or having it come back, I do understand that it is an Eastern belief, and a lot of it does get melded into modern witchcraft, modern Wicca, and so on and so forth. Do I believe in karma debt, though? Karma debt, I think we all have things that we may have done in a past life that will stick with us, but I don't believe it taints the soul. I believe, like I said, it helps the soul learn and grow. I don't believe that it's gonna, oh, you have bad karma, therefore you're gonna end up like this. I think the way we end up is the way that we look at it and go, okay, I want to try this next. So as for karma debt, I don't believe that it sits there and builds up. But as your normal person, say you're doing stuff in this lifetime, I do believe that you do build up your own set of karma in this lifetime to a point, but not necessarily. It's more of bad energy than karma if you think about it, if you do bad things. So there's that flip side of saying, oh, well, good karma or good luck. It depends on your perspective from it. And my perspective is, if you do something wrong, it will fall back on you. If somebody has wronged you, it will fall back on them eventually. Sometimes you can push that more, and using the word karma or the phrase karma just seems to get everybody to go, oh, so that's what you mean as well. Though I do believe there is a bit of karma out there for everyone, because we're all one universal thing. We're all humans, damn it. And so regardless of what we believe, there's always that balance of energy and right, wrong, whatever you want to call it, out there. So whatever name you put to it, may it be karma, right, energy, luck, whatever. If you screw up and do something bad to somebody else, eventually you're going to have something bad happen to you. Or if somebody does something bad to you without reason, it will fall back on you. And another good word is juju, like bad, like the aspiring pagan. I can't pronounce the first part of your name. I apologize.
The pagan?
Just said yes. Just said in the chat, but there it depends on what somebody wants to call it. I just am used to calling it karma, but I don't believe that it follows you life to life. I believe you learn from it and then you move on to the next.
Okay.
And Soren just gave their hiccup of approval.
Okay, good. So yeah, so the aspiring pagan. So let me know
Yeah,
in the
sorry.
chat. That's okay. So let me know in the chat, aspiring pagan, if that's the best way to address you rather than the aspy pagan. I have to admit, I think that my thoughts around the concept of karma has been changing past couple of years. I think that I'm in a kind of a transition of changing a lot of my beliefs and my understanding of things. And that just happens. You know, I just go through different periods where I just question everything and just kind of like reevaluate everything and kind of reshuffle my beliefs, my thoughts. But I think that karma in the West is kind of like just what we do just to kind of express to people without having to explain a whole bunch of stuff. So we just call it karma. And I'm not too sure I really agree with karma anymore. I think that there are, to a certain extent, I think socially, communally, we get what we deserve. So if we act in a way that is antisocial and anti-communal, it has an effect. It comes back upon us. I don't think that there's any outside force keeping a tab on us, like a tick system. Like you did this many good things, you did this many bad things, and so it comes out to this. You know, so next time you're going to come back as a bottle fly. I don't think it happens that way. But I think that it's kind of like a more immediate thing. Like if I run around and I'm an asshole to a bunch of people, those people aren't going to want to be around me anymore. If I go out and do certain crimes, I lose a certain sense of myself because I have to go beyond being social, being part of a community, and now I'm kind of like living outside of that, and I just don't care about other people, and so I just kind of like use them and abuse them for my own advantage. And I think that that's something that, again, is an aspect of myself that suffers. Now, it kind of puts me in a pissed off position, especially if I know about people who are doing things and they seem to be kind of getting away with it. And then you see certain situations like they're like these wonderful people, they're really good people, and shitty things happen to them, and you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. How come this person who's being a fucking jerk is getting all this stuff, and then this person over here who's like, you know, being a really good person and all that, they get screwed over. So that kind of thinking in terms of that with karma puts me in a position of, it's kind of like that whole concept of deity. It's like, wow, how can God let this happen in the world? So my thoughts about karma are coming down to more of a mundane human level. And I just, you know, that's the way that I have to look at karma. I just can't put it into the hands of some transcendental being. I just don't know about that yet. I don't have any evidence for it. So I'm starting to kind of question it. But for myself, you know, I don't know. I mean, I just, for myself, I was raised a certain way and I have certain morals, and that's just the way that I prefer to conduct myself. But it doesn't mean that everybody has to conduct themselves in that way. So let me see. Any last thoughts on that, Kendra?
Yeah, well,
I'll go down the lines.
like I like how you say it, how it's for you personally, because I honestly feel that's what it is. It's how we each individually perceive it and what's right for the individual. I don't believe that what's right for me is going to be right for you. What's right for you may not be right for someone else. It's like, it's a personal thing, you know, and no one could say for sure who's right and who's wrong, because none of us are there yet, right? None of us know. There's no hardcore facts on this. There's nothing proven by science. So we just go with the flow with it and what suits you personally or spiritually. And that's all my thoughts for now because I'm so tired.
Okay. Well, thanks for staying up.
It's stressing me.
Renee, any last thoughts on this?
I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. And what about you, Bailiff? I keep wanting to call you Bailiff. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Say that again?
Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Bailiff?
Yes, that is correct, actually. That's actually,
okay.
Yeah, it is. There is a drag there. There is a slight drag. If you notice how my name is spelled, there's a, what do they call that, Mark? A tilde. There's like a tilde between the A and the L, so there's a slight drag to it. You're right. You got it right anyway.
Oh, okay, good.
Sorry. What were we commenting on again? I'm sorry. I was.
We were sharing any last comments we had about what we had talked about just a second ago about our thoughts on karma.
Karmic debt.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think there's just a whole lot that can be said, and sometimes I look at my life and I wonder, well, what was my karmic debt, if any, if I had to? Because there hasn't been when I look at the world today, and I see the horrific things that I see happen to other people, and the horrific things I hear that happen to a lot of other people. When I look at my life, it's been a blessing compared to the horrors that I see out there today. So I'm like, I don't know. Do I have a karmic debt I want? I'm supposed to have a karmic debt. But, then I try to look at it. I was sitting here and I was listening to Loki, is that her name? What she was saying about that,
Yes.
The whole karmic debt thing. And sometimes it seems to me that it's really just about you being aware of you and who you are and what kind of energy that you put out there for yourself, kind of karma you're laying down for yourself. Does it come back to you though from life to life? That could go either way, I suppose. Yeah, I think I could go on hours if I really think too much about it. So.
Okay. And Loki's witch. Any last thoughts on this?
With the whole thing about it, it's karma can be many things, but it's also in this perspective. And my rabbit apparently is mad about something. But,
of course.
No, she's over there thumping. But in the end, it's also the perspective of the person. If you don't believe in karma, I don't think karma will act on you. If you believe in karma, it may act on you. It's another one of those chains of belief, but it's also another one of those fun things that fall under morality, right, wrong, putting out good or bad energy or juju. It's one of those. So it may not be karma in your eyes, but it may be one of those other things you equate to it. It will still happen. But like he said, I don't think it follows you life to life, and I'm sure we all have done pretty shitty things. We're humans. We all screw up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all capable of being nasty, nasty people, even though we hate to admit it. But we are also all capable of forgiving others and forgiving ourselves and seeking forgiveness as well. So it just falls with the person in the end.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have any last thoughts on that either, but I do appreciate everybody's answers on this. And I think it's something that I still struggle with myself, still question about. Like I was in another chat room and I think it was on Lunar Wisdom's channel, and she was talking with Lady Ambrosia, and the topic came up about talking about death. and, you know, an afterlife, about death. And there was somebody in the chat room who I got into a little side conversation with. We were talking about how they believed that it was what happened in the afterlife was based upon your own perception. And which, so that sort of made it kind of like what you had just said, Loki. Like it's sort of like what you believe will happen will happen. And I had a hard time really kind of grasping it. I had a hard time wrapping my mind around that, because I would think that everything that would happen would be what happens. And maybe we just don't know what happens at this point. But I would assume that everything that would happen would be universal. So it wouldn't be that way for the Hindus, and it wouldn't be that way for the Christians, and it wouldn't be that way for the atheists. I would assume that it would be for everyone. Everyone would experience whatever that particular thing is. So it kind of brought up the question in my mind about, is karma, is the afterlife, is it subjective based upon our own beliefs, or is it actually objective? And, you know, then that, okay, so if it is objective, who's right, or what is right, or maybe we don't know, or what? So I think maybe that's the next question. I know it's kind of a tough question, but what are your thoughts on that, Kendra?
Oh,
well, I kind of changed.
That's a lot right there.
It is a lot.
Well, briefly, like I said, I myself don't believe in karma. I believe in universal law. However, like, rephrase that, because I'm trying to...
Okay, is whatever happens to us, let's say, let's just concentrate on morality and karma. Do you believe that it is subjective, meaning that it changes depending upon your point of view, or is it objective, meaning that it goes for everybody across the board? So even, like, let's say, for example, if you don't believe in karma from lifetimes, maybe it does actually happen, because it does happen, so everybody experiences that. Did that help? Or did
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm just trying to find a way to explain it, because it's kind of a complex subject.
It is.
Basically, personally, I would say that it's a bit of both. It's both subjective and it's objective. For the fact that I honestly believe that if, let's say, you're Christian or whatever, and you believe in a heaven or hell, then that's where you're going to end up when you die, in one of those two places, depending how you believe your life has been led. If you're an atheist and you believe in nothing, then when you pass on, it's nothing that you're going to experience. I believe it's a part of where mind and spirit meet. When it comes to the karmic effect of it, it's yes and no. Like I said, it's something that I'm recently been looking into, or a sort of personal study of mine. So I'm not sure. I believe that basically it's a little bit of both, and a lot of it goes on the person's beliefs, and it can change. Like, if your perspective changes, because it's only natural, as spiritual beings we grow, and the mind grows, and if you're not staying stagnant and you're adventuring, you're growing, and you're going up, let's say, different levels of spirit or different levels of mind, your perception changes. Whatever it changes to is what's going to happen to you. It's what you're leading yourself to, or what you're creating for yourself. We're the masters of our own world. You know, you create your own personal universe. So what is happening to you within that? And then we have the outside factors of what might interfere into those beliefs, or what might penetrate your concepts to give you new visions, let's say.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of both. I'm like 50-50 for each side. I believe it all meshes together.
Okay. All right.
If that makes sense.
It does, yeah. Renee?
I think I partially agree with her, and I think it's really hard to, like, thoughts to words on this. It's not like connecting in a way that I can say that makes sense. I believe because we all go back to source, or all our universe. I believe there's some type of an integration period in its full energetic form. Part of that integration period, you may see and experience whatever you thought you experienced, as kind of like an absolution. Not that you need to be absolved of sins, but it's just in that time, it's almost kind of like for the spirit before it goes into what is everything. It has a moment to have like that one moment, the ability or the chance to let go. And so in that moment, you can those moments, you can experience hell, you can experience Summerland, you can experience, I don't know, 4chan on the internet, whatever your opinions are of that. Like for instance, from my mom used to tell me when I was young, if I wouldn't stop being a little shit, that I would come back in the next life as a cockroach. So that may be a really huge issue at that time, because my mom was really talking about panic and Buddhism. Because like I said, I was raised Buddhist, so that's why I can have like some issues with some of the philosophies. But I mean, I think you experience whatever you need to experience at that time. You go to source, and then you reincarnate, or you don't. So the only really thing I know is we'll find out. So that's why and if I'm going to hell, well, I had a really good run. So that's all I gotta say.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
Okay. And let me see where. And bailiff?
Well, when I was young and growing up, I was very, very fortunate. My parents did not push religion on me at all. They let me form my own beliefs. My mother, she was adamant about that too, about not forcing me into any one set of beliefs. So I was, I had a clean slate. Young childhood, I could formulate my beliefs and formulate my structure and concepts on my own, and kind of evolve the way I wanted to, and which led me years later to the Wiccan path. There, I've strived as hard as I can to kind of make sure that my own karmic path is kept straight now, and knowing that what I do now is going to directly affect what may happen or transpire in a further incarnation. I'm going to try to do as much as I can to make a positive line karma here and now, and learn as much as I can on my path. So that the next incarnation can be set up, whatever way it will be set up. But at least I'll know. I'll leave this incarnation knowing that I have done my best here to learn whatever it is I need, and then go from there. I hope that answered the question.
Well, again, I mean, we're just sharing our own opinions. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. What about you, Loki's Witch?
Well, I was actually one of those people who was in that conversation. I think it was back on one of your other times. I was the one that said that I believe everyone goes to the place where they worshipped or they believe they were to go to. And I do still have that strong feeling that, say, if you're Christian and you do live your lives to the commandments or as closely as you can, and you believe you're going to go to heaven, that's what you will experience. And if you are a bad person or you believe you're bad, you're going to go to that version of your quote-unquote punishment. But I don't think... I'm kind of like with Renee on it. I think in the end, you do all go back to one place and you decide if you want to be reincarnated or stay in that happy little land of yours that you're in. Or that hellish little land you're in, whichever it is that you believe in. If you go to where you believe your belief system is set and you believe that you should go, like Mamel or Summerland or Valhalla, or I'm trying to think of the other names of the places and some of them escape me. Or even heaven. It depends on your belief, like I said. To me, I don't believe there's no right or wrong path. As long as you're a good person, you don't kill others unless they're trying to kill you. But if you're a good person, don't kill others, don't steal stuff, don't lie, you're pretty much going to get the afterlife that you kind of have inspired for. And my cat says hi again.
Okay. Hello, cat.
Yeah.
So okay, so my last thoughts on this particular topic is, but what do people, maybe if they could just kind of like quickly sum it up? I mean, do you think that it is subjective depending upon the individual, or do you think it's objective, meaning that it is across the board and maybe some people are just, I mean, what are your thoughts on that particular aspect of it? Do you think it is subjective, every individual person, or do you think it is a subjective, it's going to happen no matter what across the board? What do you think, Kendra?
Well, I think it's subjective in the point that it's whatever the person believes. It's like what we were all saying. It's like if you truly believe you're going to end up somewhere after you die, then that's where you're going to end up. If you're going to go return back to the source, yes, I agree with Renee that, again, like, yeah, you either are going to stay as part with that source, or you're going to stay in whichever realm you believe that you're going to. You know, whether it be heaven, hell, land of fairy, Summerland, whatever it is your belief is.
Okay. So I just want to take an opportunity to introduce a new person to this hangout. This is Blake. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Blakey? Blakely?
It's Blake.
Blake. Okay. So I actually came across Blake's channel. I was doing the Hidden Gem series where I'm going around and I kind of type in to find new Wiccans and pagans in the YouTube huge search engine, and I saw a couple of her videos and I really enjoyed them, and so I subscribed to her, and I'm also going to be featuring her in one of my Hidden Gem series. But maybe she could introduce herself and then we could introduce ourselves to her. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Blakely.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It means a lot. To start, yeah, my name's Blake. I'm from Alaska. Just moved here last year. I'm in Arizona right now. Yeah, I knew Zoe Bowie. I know. Sorry, my cat's freaking out. Yeah, so I've known since I was 9 years old that I was Wiccan. But my dad, being the Christian that he is, he's very on that side. So he kind of forced me out of it. But 11 years later, it's still deep in my soul, and now I'm finally pursuing it. And slowly but surely, my YouTube channel is kind of turning into that theme, which is totally fine with me because it's letting me meet people like you guys. So thank you again for having me here, and I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Nice. Okay. And so I guess my name's Lilokin. I have a channel, Hellbound Heathen, and I'll go ahead and go down to the line. I'll go Kendra and Renee.
Hold on, let me let my cat out really quick.
Sure. Everybody's got pets.
My rabbits are in their cages. This one is just an asshole.
Aren't they all, though? But we love them.
Yeah.
I call her an asshole, she walks off.
Like, no.
She's like, oh, yeah? Same to you, buddy. Kendra, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Kendra. I go online as the Thorn Rose Witch, and basically that's it. I'm an occultist. My personal path would be I'm an occultist, practitioner of traditional witchcraft, highly influenced though by classical Wicca and fairy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
And Renee?
Oh, hey, I'm Renee. I have a channel on YouTube. This is my doggy Daisy, who just came in crying for love and attention.
Aww.
Aww.
Hi, I'm really awkward meeting new people, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's all I got. That's all I got right now. It's almost midnight here, so my mind's starting to wane.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been going for
You're
a while.
golden.
And Bailiff?
Hi, Blake. Welcome to the Hangout. My name is my path name is Bailiff, and I'm a Wiccan of like 25 years, 27 years, something like that.
Wow.
But yeah. And welcome welcome back, I guess, to the path. You said you had discovered early on that was what you wanted to do, but then your dad kind of took you away from that, but then went back to it. I think it's wonderful that after you said 11 years, right? I think
Yeah.
it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that even after that time, that your dad was trying to push you away from, trying to like pound it into you. No, that's wrong. You can't do it. You're gonna go to hell. You know, you held on to it, and like 11 years later, you still came back to it. So
Thank
that's
you. Yeah,
wonderful.
it's ingrained in my soul. So
That is,
there's no escaping it.
it's really beautiful to hear that. You know, and that says a lot to me. That you are probably, you know, one of those few that have been chosen by the mother and by the father to be one of their children. You know, and that's really
It means
wonderful.
a lot. That means
Welcome.
a lot. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then Loki's witch.
Hi, know me as Crystal, which is actually my name.
I love
But
that
a lot of
name.
people call me Loki or Loki's witch. I will respond to pretty much anything. I primarily follow the Nordic path, the gods, so like Loki, Thor, Odin, Balder, Frigga,
Cool.
Frigga,
Okay.
all of them.
Awesome.
But I also have a mix of some Celtic, some Greek, and one Egyptian, and not really sure what to classify the lady. I think it's a Hispanic, Mexican. I'm not sure where she falls, unfortunately. So it's kind of a melting pot in my house and in what I do. But I do have a channel on here where I'm pretty much discussing gods, or discussing how to do stuff, tools, find cheaply, or how to make things, because we can't always go out and buy a $200 wand, or
Yeah. Gets expensive
so on and so
real
forth.
quick.
I am literally all over the map. I just like to do a lot of different things, and I find it fun. And I actually work with Hellbound and another Mad Witch on a secondary channel, which is tomorrow night. So,
Yeah, that's
which is always fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the Heathen Haven. And I know Kendra's been on there. She was a guest of ours, so I'll have to have Renee and Bailiff on next. I'll contact you guys if you want to hang out with us on Sundays at 7 p.m. on Heathen Haven. So yeah, so I'm sorry we didn't do like a round of introductions at the beginning of this. We probably should. Blakely, what we were talking about, we kind of had a long discussion because we've been going now for a couple of hours.
Yeah, going for a bit.
So people are getting, yeah, we've been going on for a little bit, but I'm enjoying the conversation. So, you know, I understand if people are like getting tired or they got to work tomorrow, don't feel like, you know, you have to hang around.
I just
Because
didn't
I know.
want to be rude. It's the lamest reason in the world, but I have to finish folding laundry because life is calling me. I keep having to mute my actual screen because it keeps actually buzzing at me, which is the most annoying screeching noise in the world. So I just was like terrified out. You're like in the middle of nowhere. But
no, it's perfectly acceptable.
So I probably should scare me away, Blakely. It was really nice to meet you, and hopefully I can catch you guys at a better time.
Yeah, it was so nice
All
to
right.
meet you.
All right. Thank you guys.
See you later, Renee.
Peace out. But I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Renee.
Have a good night.
Good night. So we were talking about, well, we've been talking about magic and what is magic, and then the morality of magic, and then it came around to talking about the afterlife and what we believe if, for example, if the afterlife is, let's say, reincarnation, it would that be subjective, meaning that it would be dependent upon what people believe? So, like, for example, a Christian who believes in heaven or hell but doesn't believe in reincarnation, does that mean that their belief influences the afterlife, meaning that they would actually go to a heaven? Or would it be an objective thing where it would be across the board no matter what? So, for example, the person who believes in reincarnation, even though they believe in reincarnation, they would actually go to a heaven. Or the other way around, like, let's say a Christian who believes in heaven, but actually it's reincarnation that is true. So just that's kind of like what we were talking about. It's kind of it's not an easy thing to really kind of for some of us to really wrap our heads around, but just that's what we were talking about. And I think I forget who had just answered that question. I think Kendra, did you just answer that question?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. Now, did you finish your thought, or were you in sort of?
Yeah, I finished it. Basically, I was saying that I'm both objective and subjective to it. I think that everything plays a factor into it, that thoughts can change on it. Like, I highly believe that your belief, whatever path, tradition you follow, is where you're going to end up. So if you're Christian, you believe in heaven or hell, then you're going to follow suit. If you believe that you belong in hell, you're going to go there. You believe you belong in heaven, you're going to go there, or whatever you're following. If you're a Buddhist, you're going to follow that belief. Like, whatever you truly honestly believe is where your soul or is going to end up, or how you're going to experience the afterlife. If you choose to come back or not, or if you are sent back here or not to learn certain lessons, then that, I believe, could also play into a factor, because there are many lessons to learn in life, and you can't learn everything one shot. So beliefs and perceptions change. So outside influence can occur, and I call that the soul's growing, or the mind is growing, you're expanding, and whatever you expand upon is where you're going to follow suit into. If that makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm like so exhausted right now. It's like near 1 o'clock here.
That's okay. No, it made perfect sense to me. So we'll go Bailiff, and then Loki's Witch, and then it'll go you, Blake, and then myself. So Bailiff, go ahead.
Well, okay. So do I believe it to be,
right back.
Is it subjective or objective? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I have to. I think it's subjective. I think it's according to what we believe is. That's what's going to happen when we move from this incarnation to whatever the next is. Like in Wiccan belief, we believe that when we pass, our body, or the body dies, our spirit goes to a place that we call Summerland. And it's in this place where we are rest, and we prepare ourselves for the next stage of our evolution, our next phase of incarnation. And while we're there, we're also evaluating our spirit and our soul's growth, the things that we've learned in that incarnation that we just left, versus the things that we will need to be learning in the next incarnation. So this is what I believe. This is what we all believe. So when we die, this is what's going to happen for us. We're going to go to the Summerland. We're going to rest. We're going to evaluate, and then we're going to reincarnate once that phase is complete. There's nothing saying how long that would be, but again, it's just, that's the way we believe in, and that's the way it's going to happen for us. And I believe that. Where obviously with the Christians, they believe in one life, heaven or hell. Nothing else. So, when they die, they're probably, based on whatever their life was like. I presume they would hope they're going to go to heaven, that they've done the things that they need to do to ensure that they're going to go to their heaven. If they haven't, they're going to burn. So, but I'm glad I don't believe that way. Because I know in my heart, I'm not going to do that. That's not part of my belief system. So, I'm not worried about that. But yeah, so yeah, I would go with the subjective. It's going to happen according to what we believe.
Okay. And Loki's Witch?
Oh, I stand with the subjective, obviously. I'm pretty sure I'll probably be that one drunken soul in Valhalla, but I'm that one drunken soul all the time, anyways. But I like the subjective idea, and I have always had that you go to where you believe, and I do even think Christians are probably also given the chance to go, hey, you can always come back and live again. I think everybody has that option available to them, but it's their decision to take it when they want to, or forever stay in either some land, heaven, hell, wherever. But I do think you don't go to be tortured when you die. I think that part is way too far-fetched. I think living your own life to begin with is torture enough sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Shoot. Good point.
I mean, even when I was Mormon, I looked at it that way. I couldn't see how one path is right. It's the true path only, and all the others are lies. I never could see that as a thing. It's subjected to your belief.
Okay. And Blake?
Yeah, no, I agree that it is subjective, but the only thing that kind of, I don't know, worries me with that, like, I know what I believe, but I also don't really know, because I want to be able to see all of my loved ones when I die. And like my grandparents, they're Jewish, and they don't believe that anything happens when they die. They're just gone. They're just done. And that breaks my heart to think that when I move on, I have some family that may not be there. So it's like, how is it really? So part of me is kind of, I don't know. I'd really like to see them when I die. So yeah, it's hard to say, really.
Yeah. And like I had mentioned earlier, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. We're all just kind of like sharing our own opinions on it, and we go back around and we have a chance to kind of comment on what we've heard from other people. But the way that, and I kind of introduced this question, so you sort of have an understanding of what I think I actually mentioned it earlier, was I believe that it's objective. I mean, I think it's across the board. I don't think that it changes depending upon one's belief. But then again, it's an unknown thing. It's like Schrodinger's cat. You don't know until you open up the box,
Yeah.
and then, well, it's too late, because then you're dead. So, but
Life secrets answered. Cool.
right, exactly, yeah. So it's kind of like it, but it leaves a question. But if I was going to lean towards anything, I think I lean towards reincarnation, and that is just because it's just, if you look at the universe, you look at everything, it just seems like everything is a part of the one, and there is, I mean, energy does continue. It does continue on somehow, and that's what I believe. So I think that we all reincarnate or we don't, but I don't believe that it is dependent upon one person's your individual perspective. But again, that's my own opinion, and I don't have any solid proof one way or the other.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts on that, Kendra, as you're slowly like melting into your palm? You're like,
actually, no, my mind is too much right now. I'm actually gonna have to bid adieu to everybody and sign off here.
Yeah, we've been going now for a while.
Yeah, and I wasn't even supposed to be on. I just kind of hopped in.
You were supposed to be on. You just didn't hop on.
I was supposed to be in bed like hours ago.
Yeah, me too. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they start talking about nudity and ritual. Then I realized, oh, maybe I'll get in on this, but I should put some clothes on. So I just grabbed the rope.
Exactly. That's what gets them into my hangout. Start talking about nudity. Oh, nudity.
Okay, what's going on
in
over
there?
here, guys?
It all started with this one post in this group called YouTube Pagans, and they were talking about, this question was, how many of you put on pants for your videos? Because most people you only see from the top up. So So people were talking about how they don't wear pants in their videos, and then that just spiraled out of control because we're all perverts. And we started talking about nudity.
A fun group talking about nudity and rituals and who's wearing what down below the chest. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting in on that.
And so she had to throw on clothes.
Well, yeah, otherwise your channel might get shut down, you know.
True.
Well, yeah, but it would have a lot of views before YouTube shut it down.
You go viral, make millions.
I don't think I want that kind of attention, you know.
True. We're not.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna like jump out of here now, and thanks for having me again.
Have a good night, Kendra. Blessed be.
You too.
Right, take care.
Many blessings to y'all. Bye.
Night. So yeah, so I think it was nice of you to join, but I think we were kind of like getting to the point where we're going to start wrapping it up anyway. But I do this every Saturday.
That's okay.
Yeah, I do this every Saturday at 7 p.m. I don't know, Alaska, are you on Pacific time? Is
Well,
Alaska
I'm in
Pacific time?
Arizona right now.
Oh, you're in Arizona.
Yeah, I
Okay.
live in Arizona, but I'm from Alaska. I just moved here last year.
Okay, so I think Arizona is Pacific time still then, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't
So,
really
like, for
know how the
example,
time works here. I'm still getting used
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I know certain parts of Arizona, or most of Arizona, does not recognize or use the daylight savings time. So, like, if
Oh, yeah.
it's
Mhm.
10
Right.
o'clock here, it's 10 o'clock there. But when daylight saving times happen, when it's 9 o'clock here, it'll be 10 o'clock there.
Yeah.
They don't change.
It's
Okay.
like 1 a.m. here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
but
Bedtime.
But anyhow, so I do this.
then
I do this
again, you
hangout.
me, I'm used to working at late into the night as a witch, doing stuff late into the night. So
The midnight
I could
hour.
hang out till 2, 3 in the morning if I had to.
But yeah, so I have this hangout every Saturday at 7 p.m. So feel free to join
Okay,
in next
I
Saturday.
work exactly until 7 on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Nice.
as soon as I come home, I can jump right on, or yeah, so that's good to know.
Yeah, and I usually spend probably about a good half hour right before we really get into the subject, just kind of like like getting emails out to people and getting everybody just in the chat, and then from there, then we actually start getting going. So it actually sometimes it'll take almost an hour. So you still have some time to decompress, get yourself some coffee, take a shower, do whatever you need to do. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess what we'll do is, I don't know, the chat doesn't look like the chat has any questions for us. So that's good. So I guess maybe we'll kind of start to wind down a little bit. Any last thoughts from you, Bailiff? And I'll go across the board.
No, I'm good. I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to come onto your channel and go and do this hangout thing. I think it's wonderful. And after the hiccups we had with my audio and everything, we couldn't get it working, but I finally got it figured out.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful, and it was great. And I also do a live broadcast of my own every Tuesday evening. I do a broadcast on YouTube myself. So it's at
what time?
8 o'clock on Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. I start generally.
And which time zone are you in?
I'm in the Eastern time zone.
Okay, so 8 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay.
Every Tuesday. Yep.
Okay.
It's
cool.
called the Witching Hour. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Nice. And Loki, any last thoughts?
Just be safe, have fun, enjoy your Easter tomorrow. I know I get to go dye eggs after I'm done here. But hopefully see some people back for tomorrow for Haven, and check out my channel if you want to do arts, crafts, or learn about random crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah. And so let's tell everybody about your channel, Loki, and then I'll come back to you And then I'll go to you, Blake, and then I'll come back to you, Bailiff, so that you can promote your channel too.
Okay.
So go ahead, Loki.
So, like I said earlier, during arts, crafts, fun things, some of my arts and craft are actually hanging above me, and my setup is probably going to end up changing later because we realize how limited we are with the boom mic in here. But yeah, it's just coming to learn, teaching either people who've been in the craft or people who are still looking into being into it, on altar stuff, on how to make things for that, and just information about gods and deities, because I'm doing pretty much a series on ask me what one that you want to know about, and I will do the research and do a video on it.
Yeah.
And I want to strangle Cece.
Okay. And people want to know what the name of your channel is. And also if
it
you
is
can, Loki Switch. Okay. And can you put it in the chat, and I'll copy and paste it into, I know I have it somewhere, but
yes.
If you could just paste in there, and I'll put it in the chat for you, because people are asking.
No problem.
Yeah. And okay. And also, can you do the same thing, One Wiccan High Priest? Put your channel name in the chat that we have on Google Plus.
Okay.
And I will paste it into the chat so people can subscribe to your channel.
Where do I need to put that?
Okay, so if you go, that's okay. If you go to the upper left-hand corner, there's a little blue like text box in the very top.
Yeah.
You click that, and then there's a text box that appears in the lower right-hand corner. Just put in your channel name or your channel URL if you have it. Yeah. So yeah. So his channel name is One Wiccan High Priest. And Loki Switch.
I got it right there.
Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, perfect. And I will actually put in the link for Loki's Witch's channel. Copy, paste. All right, there we go. Okay, and Blake.
Yeah, I guess the last little bit of what I've got to say is thank you again for having me. It was lovely to meet all of you, and I'm really excited to watch more of your videos and watch your guys' videos, and just keep up with this. This is really exciting and new for me because this is something I'm just now getting back into after all of these years, and it just feels so right. And so I'm really, really excited. And yeah, I've got, I did a full moon ritual the other night, and I also did some scrying, and that went amazing. And so I've got a story that's going to be on my channel, kind of explaining what went down then. So if anyone's interested, that should be on my channel. I may even film that tonight. Yeah, it was a really, really great experience. So if anyone's curious about scrying and any of that, I'll be talking a little bit about that. And yeah, thank you all again.
And what's the name of your channel?
Well, my channel is just my name. So
okay.
You just, I'll throw a comment down there. I can't do it while my phone's recording, but
that's all right.
yeah, it's just my full name. It's just Blake Riffley, and you should be able to find me.
Okay. Awesome. And let me see. What was I going to say? I completely drew a blank about what I was going to say. Oh yeah. So was that a ritual that you did just on your own, or was it part of a group?
It was just by myself. I'm actually not super, well, I'm going to start running my own rituals, I think. And when I go visit back home, there are a lot of people there that want me to lead a ritual with a bunch of people. So that will be good. But I have gone to one full moon ritual, which was like a church, some kind of pagan church, but I didn't feel very welcome. And it felt strange to me. So I prefer to just do it on my own, I think. But for the full moon, a couple of friends of mine, well, they're not friends, more acquaintances, they came to me on Twitter.
They're just strangers you ran into.
Huh?
They're just strangers you ran into, right?
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, people on the street. But they came to me and asked me, because I was tweeting about how I was going to be doing a full moon ritual, and they wanted to be a part of that. So I incorporated them into my ritual, and that was my first time including others. And it was, and the energy, the first half of the night was very off because I didn't know them very well, and they're just different, very, very plugged in and just weird energy. But then after the ritual and after the scrying, I got some useful information for them from the scrying, and the energy totally shifted, and it was a really good experience. And I think I do want to start leading my own rituals. I think that would be really good, just to kind of get.
I think you'd be very good at it.
You think so?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You're welcome.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to take some practice, but I would really like to be able to do that. So, yeah, thank you.
And I think that YouTube, there's a lot of solitaries on YouTube. I think it's just kind of a natural progression, because a lot of people just maybe they live in an area where there's not a lot of other pagans around, or maybe they're just not interested in joining a group. So there's a lot of eclectic solitary people on YouTube that exchange a lot of information. So if you do like Google search for different pagans and witches on YouTube, a lot of names will come up, and then even like some people who are like subscribed to other people, you can go and check out their channel. But there's a lot of people on YouTube that are doing videos on pagany, witchy, Wiccan stuff. So, and I'm sure you probably come. Yeah,
I'm super excited.
Yeah, cool, good. All right, so I think that's about it. Sorry you joined so late, Blake, but it was nice to get to know you.
Okay, thank you for having me. Thank you, really.
Yeah, and so we put our channel names in the description there, so please go and check out our channels. Again, we have, like Loki had mentioned, we have Heathen Haven tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Sunday Pacific time. So please, everyone is welcome to come there and watch our channel. What we do is we basically watch a video and then we comment on the video, and it's usually like some stupid nonsense about what people believe that witches do, like for Easter. We're going to be talking about Easter.
You mean like defeating warrior Wiccans? No, that one was a trip.
What was that, Bailiff?
The defeating warrior Wiccans, that was a trip.
Oh, yeah. The Bill Schnoebelen. Yeah, he's...
Yeah. I'm telling you, I want to take and have a live debate with that guy. I am so pissed off. And I want to get right up there on YouTube and do a live debate with him.
Yeah,
read him the riot act.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of these people, they do debates. They're just not into that. So, all right. Well,
we've tried.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, we tried. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you all in the chat. It was wonderful. Have a good night. And again, every Saturday, 7 p.m. I have my Hangout Pacific time. So come join us next week. All right.
All right. Blessed be everyone. Bye.
Blessed be. Good night.
Blessed be.
Night, everyone.
Night.